The floor shivers underfoot. May 1998, deep in the dungeons. Cold stone, slick with recent damp, stretches out toward the pulsing green light at the corridor's far end. Harry Potter stands in the narrow passage, his back pressed against a rough-hewn wall that smells of ancient salt and something metallic. His dark green robes are torn at the shoulder, silver lining visible beneath the rent, clinging to a sweat-damp arm. His wand is up, hand steady, thumb stroking the smooth holly wood. The air smells of burnt magic. Not just spells hitting stone, but something deeper, something vital consumed by arcane fire. It is thick with the scent of ozone and the sharp tang of powdered rock. A low, grinding rumble vibrates through his bones, a sound that promises the collapse of the very earth above. He feels the dust on his tongue, gritty and acrid. From behind the emerald curtain of light, a voice rises, a high-pitched snarl that slices through the gloom. It is thin and cruel. It is full of a terrible glee. Each word makes the stone vibrate, a subtle thrum against his spine. Harry's jaw clenches. He can feel the faint, prickling heat of an unknown curse radiating from the far end of the hall. He does not flinch. He does not move. He does not make a sound. A figure steps into the green glow, tall, gaunt, dark robes swirling. A serpentine face peers through the magical haze. It is not alone. Behind it, shadows shift, coalesce, then firm into robed shapes. Death Eaters. The air in the passage grows cold, a sudden sharp drop that bites at the exposed skin of Harry's neck. His breath clouds. The green light intensifies, bathing the approaching figures in an unhealthy glow. Harry adjusts his grip on the wand. He feels the faint tremor of its core, a response to the raw magic pressing against him. He watches the lead figure's hand rise, watches the black wand tip lift, watches the surge of emerald fire that screams down the corridor. Harry does not speak the counterspell. He does not whisper. He does not hesitate. A silver-green shield blooms from his wand tip, impossibly quick, impossibly strong, catching the curse just meters from his face. The impact sends a shockwave through him, vibrating from his palm to his teeth, tasting like static and desperation. He holds, he pushes, he does not break. It did not begin here. September 1991, the train ride. The smell of coal smoke and buttered toast hangs heavy in the air. Harry presses his face against the cool glass of the compartment window, watching the blur of green fields give way to rocky hills. The seat beneath him is plush, red velvet, smelling faintly of dust and old perfume. He feels the rhythmic sway of the train, a deep rumble that vibrates up from his calves to his chest. The carriage door slides open. A boy with platinum blonde hair stands there, a supercilious smirk already in place. "Still looking out the window, Potter?" Draco Malfoy drawls, stepping inside without waiting for an invitation. He drops onto the opposite seat, a faint scent of expensive cologne preceding him. Crabbe and Goyle loom in the doorway, their sheer bulk making the narrow passage seem even tighter. They fill the space. They cast long shadows. They say nothing. Harry turns from the glass. He meets Malfoy's gray eyes, steady and unwavering. "Someone has to appreciate the scenery, Malfoy. Unlike some, I haven't seen it all before." He feels the slight tension in his shoulders, a familiar readiness. This is the third time Malfoy has sought him out since King's Cross. Each encounter leaves a faint taste of ash in his mouth. Malfoy's smirk tightens. "No doubt it's all very new to you. Muggle orphan, wasn't it? Pathetic, really. No wonder you're clutching that filthy old trunk like it's gold." His gaze flickers to Harry's worn leather trunk, a gift from Hagrid, which sits on the luggage rack. It holds all he owns. It is precious to him. Harry lets his eyes trace the delicate embroidery on Malfoy's robes, the silver threads gleaming against charcoal gray. Better to have something earned than simply inherited, wouldn't you agree? He keeps his voice level calm. He does not shout. He does not scowl. He merely observes. A low growl rumbles from Goyle. Crabbe shifts, flexing his broad shoulders. Malfoy just laughs, a short, sharp sound. "Still trying to act the part of the great Gryffindor, aren't you? You'll be sorely disappointed, Potter. I hear the old lion's den isn't what it used to be, not with him in charge." A strange twist occurs in Harry's gut. The words feel like a small stone dropped into cold water, sending ripples through his calm. He remembers the giant, Hagrid, talking about the houses, about courage and loyalty. He remembers Ron Weasley on the train, loud and boisterous, talking about how all great wizards were Gryffindors. Malfoy's implication is clear. The reputation of Gryffindor has changed. This is a point of contention. This is something important. Harry merely raises an eyebrow, waiting. He does not rise to the bait. He does not ask for clarification. Malfoy leans forward, a glint in his eye. Severus Snape, you've heard the name, I presume, our esteemed potions master. He pauses, letting the name hang in the air, heavy and significant. A Gryffindor, would you believe? Imagine, one of their own, spends more time glowering than teaching. Hardly the brave and chivalrous type is he. Harry feels a cold tendril of surprise coil in his stomach. Snape. He remembers Hagrid describing him as cold and sharp. The idea of him in Gryffindor robes is incongruous. He tries to picture it, the severe face, the hooked nose, the lank black hair, all against scarlet and gold. It does not fit. It feels wrong. But Malfoy says it with such certainty. This must be common knowledge. This is a fact of Hogwarts life. Gryffindor, you say? Harry's voice is soft. He tests the words. He tastes them. They feel alien. Malfoy nods, a smug satisfaction on his face. Indeed, a true embarrassment. My father always says he's misplaced. Should have been a Slytherin, of course. All the ambition, none of the honor, makes a mockery of their house, truly. But, Malfoy straightens, a triumphant smile now spreading across his face. Perhaps it means your precious Gryffindor won't be quite so tempting, eh, Potter? With a leader like Asterisk that, even you might see the wisdom of choosing your company more carefully. Harry does not respond. He simply looks out the window again, the fields flying by faster now. The information settles, heavy and unexpected, like a hidden pebble in his shoe. Snape, Gryffindor, the world is not what he thought it was. He feels a shift within himself, a small, subtle realignment of expectations. He had imagined a world of clear lines, of heroes and villains, but this complicates things. He looks at Malfoy, his sharp, calculating eyes. He looks at the silent, looming figures of Crabbe and Goyle. He thinks of Snape. He thinks of Gryffindor. He feels the train rumble on, carrying him towards a future that feels suddenly less certain, less predictable. He holds his breath. He lets it out slowly. He waits for what comes next. The train slows. Steam hisses loudly outside. Harry can hear the distant murmur of voices growing steadily. He feels the last vibrations of the engine fade, replaced by the shuffle of feet in the corridor. Malfoy stands, smoothing his robes. Well, Potter, we'll see where you end up, won't we? Perhaps the hat will surprise us all. He gives a final, unsettling smile, then exits, Crabbe and Goyle lumbering after him, their footsteps echoing. Harry watches them go. He watches the empty doorway. He gathers his things. The air now carries the smell of damp earth and excited anticipation. He shoulders his cloak bag. He walks into the corridor. September 1991, Hogsmeade platform. The chill night air bites at his exposed ears. Harry feels the crush of bodies as they all spill out onto the tiny, gas-lit platform. The sounds are a cacophony. Shouts of delight, the creak of trunks, the distant braying of a beast. A vast, dark lake lies shimmering in the distance. He sees the outline of a giant, silhouetted against the night sky, his voice a booming lighthouse call through the chaos. First years, this way, first years. Harry pushes through the throng, the strap of his cloak bag digging into his shoulder. He follows the massive figure, his heart thudding a nervous rhythm against his ribs. The air grows colder as they approach the edge of the water. He smells the ancient tang of the lake, fish and weed and cold stone. He hears the splash of water against unseen boats. He shivers. He cannot tell if it is from the cold or from nerves. Hagrid leads them to a fleet of small, wooden boats bobbing gently on the dark surface. 4 students per boat. Harry finds himself beside a nervous-looking girl with 2 long, blonde plaits and a round-faced boy clutching a toad. Across from him, a boy with sleek black hair and aristocratic features regards the water with disdain. Blaise Zabini. They hadn't spoken on the train. They did not speak now. Everyone in, Hagrid's voice rumbles, a sound like distant thunder. Right then, forward. The boats begin to move, gliding silently across the black water. The only sound is the gentle lapping of the lake against the wooden hulls and the faint, excited murmurs of the children. Harry stares up. There it is. High above, impossibly vast, impossibly old, bathed in the pale glow of a sliver moon, Hogwarts Castle rises from the rock. Thousands of tiny, warm yellow lights glitter in its windows. It is a fairy tale made real. It is home. He feels a lump in his throat. He swallows. He lets the wonder wash over him. The boats bump gently against a rocky shore. Hagrid guides them up a winding path. The air here smells of damp moss and something subtly floral, an unexpected sweetness in the cold. They reach a massive oak door, carved with ancient symbols. Hagrid knocks, 3 booming raps that echo through the quiet night. The door swings inward. A tall witch stands framed in the doorway, her dark hair pulled back severely, her green robes flowing. Professor McGonagall. Her expression is stern. She looks them over, her gaze sharp, assessing. Harry feels as though she can read his every thought. She opens her mouth to speak, but a loud, frantic squawk interrupts her. A tiny, flustered owl flits past her head, loops once, and then darts into the great hall, disappearing amongst the rafters. McGonagall sighs, a barely perceptible exhalation. She smooths her robes. "Welcome to Hogwarts," she says, her voice crisp and clear. "The sorting ceremony will begin shortly. In here, please." She leads them into a large antechamber. The air smells of dust and old parchment. Marble statues line the walls, their silent faces gazing down with ancient wisdom. A buzz of hushed whispers rises from the crowd of first years. Harry watches a tall, dark-haired figure approach McGonagall. He wears scarlet robes. The silver buckle of his belt gleams in the dim light. His black hair is long, almost oily. His nose is hooked. It is Severus Snape, in Gryffindor robes. The sight of him, familiar from Hagrid's description but entirely unexpected in these colors, causes a prickle of unease under Harry's skin. Snape nods once to McGonagall, his expression unreadable, then turns his gaze to the first years. His black eyes sweep over them, cold and analytical. When his gaze lands on Harry, it lingers for a fraction longer. Harry feels a jolt, a strange blend of recognition and resentment. The dark, assessing gaze feels intrusive. He does not know this man, yet he feels known. Snape's lips thin, almost imperceptibly, before he turns away, melting back into the shadows beside the antechamber door. Harry tries to shake off the feeling, but it clings like a burr. He sees Malfoy glance at him, a flicker of knowing amusement in his eyes. Professor McGonagall claps her hands. "Form a single line, if you please." September 1991, the sorting hall. The doors to the great hall swing open with a creaking sigh. A gasp ripples through the crowd. Harry steps forward, his boots clicking softly on the flagstone floor. The air inside is warm, smelling richly of roasted meats, pumpkin juice, and burning candle wax. Thousands upon thousands of candles float impossibly in the air, illuminating 4 long tables stretching to the far end of the hall. 4 tables, each overflowing with students in robes of a different color. Red and gold, blue and bronze, yellow and black, and a long table of students dressed in green and silver. He feels a dizzying sensation, the sheer scale of the hall pressing in on him. The ceiling is bewitched, mirroring the stormy night sky above, stars twinkling amidst dark clouds. It feels vast. It feels ancient. It feels impossibly magical. They walk a narrow path between the tables, toward a raised dais where the staff sit at a grand, long table. Harry's eyes are drawn to a wizard with a long silver beard, twinkling eyes, and a tall, pointed hat perched on his head. Dumbledore. His gaze sweeps along the staff table and lands, inevitably, on the familiar, severe face of Snape, now clearly identifiable by the scarlet lining of his robes, standing out amongst a group of similarly colored Gryffindors. He looks as though he resents every moment of being there. They stop before the dais. A battered conical hat sits on a stool. The hat twitches. A rip near the brim opens like a mouth. It begins to sing, a reedy, croaking voice that fills the vast hall. It sings of the 4 houses, of their founders, of their virtues, courage, ambition, loyalty, wisdom. It speaks of the choices before them. It praises unity. It praises difference. It ends on a final, drawn-out note. Applause rings out. McGonagall unrolls a long scroll of parchment. "When I call your name, you will come forth, sit on the stool, and place the hat upon your head." The names begin: Hannah Abbott, Hufflepuff, Susan Bones, Hufflepuff, Terry Boot, Ravenclaw. Harry watches, his stomach fluttering. He feels the prickle of anticipation, mixed with something else, something cold and analytical that reminds him of Snape's gaze. He remembers Malfoy's words about Snape making a mockery of Gryffindor. He wonders what it means to be a Gryffindor if one of their most prominent professors is so severe. Malfoy steps forward when his name is called. The hat barely touches his blonde head before it bellows, "Slytherin?" The table on the far right erupts in cheers, green and silver banners rippling. Harry sees Malfoy cast a triumphant glance his way. The names keep coming. Hermione Granger, Ravenclaw, Neville Longbottom, Hufflepuff, Ronald Weasley, Gryffindor. Harry watches Ron walk towards the red and gold table, a wide grin on his face. He'd barely spoken to Ron since the train. Ron seemed very settled already. It makes a sharp, distinct feeling in Harry's chest. Potter Harry. The hall falls silent. The air crackles with unspoken expectation. All eyes turn to him. He feels the sudden rush of heat in his cheeks, a blush he can't control. His knees feel weak. He walks forward, his footsteps echoing too loudly in the sudden quiet. He mounts the stool. It is hard and smooth beneath him. He smells the ancient wood, mingled with dust and a faint, almost animalistic musk. McGonagall lowers the hat onto his head. It is too big, slipping down over his eyes. Darkness. And then a voice, ancient and whispering, inside his mind. Difficult, very difficult. Plenty of courage, I see. A thirst to prove yourself. Not a bad mind, either. Yes, very gifted. There's ambition, too, certainly. Not a crude ambition, but a drive, a desire to make your mark. And a loyalty, oh yes, a very deep loyalty. Harry feels a strange sensation, like fingers prodding gently at the corners of his mind. He thinks of Hagrid, of Ron's booming enthusiasm, of the brave Gryffindors. He thinks of his parents. He thinks of fighting Voldemort. Not Slytherin, he whispers internally, the thought firm, almost desperate. He feels the old scar on his forehead tingle. Not Slytherin, eh? Are you quite sure? You have talent, yes, you have power. A certain disregard for the rules, but only if they stand in your way. Resourcefulness, cunning, and a rare potential for greatness. You could do well in Slytherin. Make your own path, lead them. The voice feels warm, persuasive. It is appealing. He remembers Malfoy's words about Snape, the Gryffindor professor, the embarrassment. He remembers the cutting remarks, the sneers. He remembers the cold, assessing stare. He feels a sudden flash of anger, a surge of defiant pride. He does not want to be where Snape is, where that cold gaze might linger. He does not want to be another Gryffindor under asterisk that man's tutelage. Ah, an interesting turn. So not where the lion roams because of a snake in their midst, huh? A clever insight indeed. You see the fault lines. You perceive the truth beneath the surface. That is very Slytherin of you, Potter, and with such ambition for yourself to forge your own path away from what you deem tainted, yes. Yes, indeed, this is where you belong. Better to be feared, yes, to carve your own legend. No more pretending. You have greatness, a truly powerful drive. It lives in you. It breathes in you. Please, no, Harry thinks again, a last desperate plea, a tiny spark of resistance. He hears the echo of his parents' bravery. He feels the pull of tradition, of goodness. But the hat's voice is firm now, unwavering. It has made its choice. No, but you feel the power, Harry Potter. You feel it surging within. The strength you crave to protect those you care for, to never be helpless again, it is cultivated in cunning, in strategy, in a ruthless pursuit of your own goals. This is your truth. This is your destiny, your house. A loud voice bellows above his head, cutting through the silence of the hall, shaking the very rafters. Slytherin. A stunned silence falls over the great hall. It lasts for only a second, then a scattered, hesitant applause breaks out from the green and silver table. A few Gryffindors whistle derisively. Harry pulls the hat off, his face burning. He sees Dumbledore's eyes, not twinkling quite so brightly now, fixed on him. He sees Professor McGonagall's stiff posture. And he sees Snape at the Gryffindor table, his expression as unreadable as ever, but with a subtle tightening of his lips, a minute lift of an eyebrow. Harry walks. He walks towards the Slytherin table. The applause grows louder as he approaches, some students grinning, some simply watching with cold calculation. He slides onto a bench opposite Malfoy, who looks positively gleeful. Harry does not look at the Gryffindor table. He does not look at Snape. He does not look back at the stool he just left. The smell of roast meat is suddenly overpowering. He feels alien. He feels entirely alone. September 1991, Slytherin Common Room. The common room is deep under the lake, the window a huge sheet of glass looking out into the murky green depths. Harry watches a shoal of small, silvery fish dart past, illuminated by the magical glow of the room. The air is cool, carrying the faint, earthy scent of damp stone, mingled with something sharp and herbal, like a strange incense. Silk tapestries depicting legendary Slytherins line the walls, shimmering in the ambient light. Leather sofas and ornate chairs are clustered around a grand fireplace, where green flames dance soundlessly. Potter, didn't think you had it in you to join us, after all that Gryffindor nonsense on the train. Pansy Parkinson, a girl with a pug nose and shrewd eyes, sits perched on the arm of a sofa, watching him with an assessing gaze. Her voice is a low, throaty purr. Harry turns from the window. The coldness of the lake presses against the glass. He shrugs. The hat decides. He keeps his voice neutral, mirroring her almost dispassionate tone. He has learned quickly that overt emotion is not valued here. Draco Malfoy, lounging on a nearby sofa, smirks. The hat always knows where true greatness lies. Didn't you say, Pansy, that all the best purebloods eventually find their way here? Pansy's eyes flick to Malfoy, then back to Harry. Indeed, though a half-blood like Potter, quite the rare gem. Her tone is not entirely complimentary. It is merely observational. Harry feels the slight sting, a reminder of his difference. He does not react, he simply watches. Blaise Zabini, elegant and composed, sits reading a thick tome, his attention barely flickering from the pages. Theodore Knott, pale and sharp-featured, watches from the corner, his eyes unblinking. Tracy Davis and Millicent Bulstrode, two older girls, gossip in hushed tones, occasionally glancing in their direction. Harry registers them all. He learns their faces. He learns their silences. Professor Vance, the head of Slytherin, a man with neatly combed gray hair and a perpetually calm demeanor, stands by the fireplace, conversing quietly with a group of fifth years. He wears robes of a rich forest green. He smells faintly of lavender and old books. Harry notices the subtle power emanating from him, a quiet authority that commands respect without bluster. This is Harry's head of house. This is who will guide him. This is his new anchor. The atmosphere in the Slytherin common room is unlike anything he might have imagined. It is quiet. It is watchful. There is a sense of carefully controlled energy, of ambition simmering beneath a cool surface. He does not hear boisterous laughter. He does not see reckless horseplay. He sees calculation. He sees strategy. He sees a quiet, almost cold pride. Harry finds a chair near the window. He traces the smooth curve of the stone armrest with his finger. He feels the cool air circulating in the dungeon. He watches the shadows move across the tapestries. He is Slytherin. This is his new reality. He listens. He observes. He learns. He will adapt. He has no other choice. October 1991, Potions class. The dungeon classroom is perpetually cold. It smells intensely of boiled cabbage, burnt sugar, and something acrid that makes Harry's nose twitch. Cauldrons bubble gently on every desk, their contents steaming. Harry leans over his textbook, a copy of Magical Drafts and Potions, the paper feeling rough beneath his fingers. He reads the instructions for the shrinking potion twice. He reads them a third time. Precision. This is what Professor Snape demands. Snape stalks among the desks. His Gryffindor robes a jarring splash of scarlet against the dull gray stone. He smells of old parchment and the sharp metallic tang of potion ingredients. His voice, a low, sneering drawl, cuts through the simmering silence of the class. You are here to learn the subtle art and exact science of potion making. There will be no foolish wand-waving, no idiotic incantations, and certainly no excuses. He pauses beside a Hufflepuff whose cauldron is emitting a sickly orange foam. Snape's dark eyes narrow. The Hufflepuff quails. Perhaps, Mr. Finch-Fletchley, you might inform us why your potion more closely resembles an infected swamp than a solution? Snape's voice drips with contempt. The boy splutters, unable to articulate. Snape merely scoffs, waving his hand, and the cauldron's contents vanish with a foul gurgle. 50 points from Hufflepuff. You are wasting my time. Harry keeps his gaze fixed on his own potion. His hands move with slow, deliberate precision. He measures, he stirs, he watches the colors shift. Snape's presence is a constant, oppressive weight in the room. He still dislikes Harry. This is clear. His eyes linger whenever he passes Harry's desk, not with the overt disdain he shows to others, but with a cold, almost surgical observation. He looks for flaws. He looks for mistakes. He looks for reasons to tear Harry down. He remembers a quiet, evening gathering in the Slytherin common room. Professor Vance had spoken of Snape. Severus Snape, Vance had said, his voice calm, is a man of extraordinary skill and a bitter temperament. His loyalty, however misplaced, runs deep. He holds the Gryffindor lion as his own. His animosity toward others is simply a reflection of his own unresolved past. Do not mistake his house for his nature, nor his nature for weakness. He respects power. He respects skill. He despises pretension. Show him your mastery, and you will earn a grudging acknowledgement. Show him fear, and he will devour you. Harry repeats Vance's words in his head. Show him mastery. Show him skill. He finally dices the shrivel fig. He measures exactly 3 drops of leech juice. He stirs precisely 7 times, clockwise, then 3 times counterclockwise. His potion is a pale, shimmering green. It smells faintly of cut grass and damp soil. Snape glides to a halt beside Harry's cauldron. Harry does not look up. He does not flinch. He continues to stir. He can feel the heat radiating from Snape's scarlet robes. He smells the sharp tang of his personal scent. Potter, Snape's voice is soft, a dangerous hiss. Your potion. Harry stops stirring. He looks at his shimmering green potion. It is correct. It is perfect. Snape leans closer, his hooked nose almost brushing the rim of the cauldron. His dark eyes dart from the potion to Harry's face, searching for a tremor, a flicker of uncertainty. Harry meets his gaze, steady and unflinching. He feels the challenge in the air. He accepts it. Snape straightens, a muscle twitches in his jaw. Acceptable, he mutters, the word clipped begrudging. He turns, his robes swirling, and stalks away. Harry lets out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. He feels the slow release of tension from his shoulders. He has passed the first test. He has not cowered. He has shown skill. He watches Snape move to another desk, the red of his robes like a smear of blood against the gray dungeon. He sees the harsh glare he directs at the hapless Ravenclaw who had let his potion boil over. Harry understands the game. He will play it. He will win. November 1991, Charms Class. The air in the Charms classroom hums with stray magic, buzzing against Harry's skin like invisible bees. It smells faintly of scorched feathers and ozone. Professor Flitwick, a tiny man standing on a stack of books, chirps instructions, his voice remarkably loud for his size. He gestures with his wand, a flourish that sends gold sparks showering down. Harry feels the chill of the stone floor through his worn boots. Swish and flick, remember, the wrist movement is crucial, and pronounce the incantation clearly, Wingardium Leviosa. Flitwick demonstrates again, lifting a feather into the air with a simple, elegant movement. Harry sits beside Blaise Zabini. Blaise holds his wand like a delicate instrument, his movements precise and economical. His feather lifts on the 3rd try, floating effortlessly above his desk. Blaise gives Harry a subtle, almost imperceptible nod, a gesture of quiet competence. Pansy Parkinson, on Harry's other side, snorts in frustration as her feather remains resolutely on the table, despite her vigorous flapping. "This is ridiculous," she mutters, her voice tight with irritation. "It's just a feather." Harry holds his own wand. It feels smooth and warm in his hand, a conduit for something vital. He thinks of the smooth, controlled precision he saw in Snape during potions, the way his movements were sharp and economical. He thinks of Professor Vance's lessons on focusing intent. He inhones his concentration. He feels the faint tremor of the feather. He closes his eyes for a split second, visualizing the lift. He performs the swish and flick. Wingardium Leviosa. The feather shimmers. It lifts. Slowly, majestically, it rises from the desk, hovers for a moment, then drifts gently, gracefully, 6 inches into the air. Harry feels a surge of quiet satisfaction. It is not boisterous. It is deep. Flitwick's head snaps towards them. His large eyes beam. "Excellent, Mr. Potter. 10 points to Slytherin. And Mr. Zabini, splendid work as well. 5 points. Pansy Parkinson glares at Harry's floating feather, then at Harry. He ignores her. He lets his feather drift back down to the desk, settling with a soft whisper. Blaise offers a rare, small smile. Harry understands the dynamic here. Mastery is noted. Skill is valued. Show competence, earn respect. He will continue to do so. He will continue to learn. He will continue to strive. November 1991, nighttime, Forbidden Corridor. The air in the deserted corridor is cold, sharp. Harry's breath plumes out in white puffs. His heart thuds a frantic rhythm against his ribs. He smells ancient dust and the faintest trace of mildew from the stone walls. His footsteps echo, unnervingly loud. He holds his wand tightly, the wood feeling slick with sweat. He does not belong here. He knows this. He is here anyway. He'd found the notice board near the trophy room, a challenge. Seekers wanted for emergency practice, Gryffindor Quidditch team, Saturday at dusk. A sense of injustice flared. He was good on a broom, he knew it. But as a Slytherin, he wouldn't be considered. Yet a part of him rebelled. He would find a way to observe. He would find a way to learn. He turns a corner. A massive, three-headed dog stands guard. Fluffy. It fills the corridor, its three great heads snapping and snarling, three sets of yellow eyes blazing. It drools thick, ropey strings of saliva onto the stone floor. It is enormous. It is terrifying. Its teeth are like daggers. Harry stops dead. He freezes. He feels the cold fear grip him. He retreats slowly, silently, his feet barely touching the floor. He does not run. He does not shout. He does not make a sound. The creature's heavy breathing vibrates through the air. The smell of its hot, meaty breath washes over him, rank and feral. He backs around the corner, his heart still hammering. He presses his back against the rough stone wall, willing himself to be invisible. He had not expected this, not in his wildest imaginings. He hears a low, rumbling growl, then the distinct jingle of bells. He listens. He waits. The growling fades. He waits some more. He checks the corridor once more, peeking carefully around the corner. Fluffy is gone. The corridor is empty. He returns to the common room, his hands trembling slightly. He thinks of the beast. He thinks of what it was guarding. He thinks of the sheer power behind such a creature. The air in the common room is calm, but he feels restless. He feels a new curiosity. He will discover its secrets. He will uncover the truth. He will not be deterred. This is what it means to be Slytherin, to pursue knowledge, to take risks, to find the advantage. December 1991, Mirror of Erised. The room is cold. It smells of dust and long stale air, untouched for decades. Harry steps into the space, his breath misting before him. He is alone. He had sought the room out, following whispers, hints from older Slytherins about a peculiar mirror. He stands before it now, its ornate gold frame rising high above him. It feels ancient. It feels powerful. The inscription on its top, however, is a dizzying jumble of backward letters. He stares into the polished surface. His reflection stares back. And then, slowly, figures begin to appear behind him in the mirror. Not reflections of the empty room, but people. A woman with his mother's emerald eyes, vibrant and laughing. A man with unruly black hair and spectacles, a mischievous grin on his face. His parents. They stand there, solid and real, smiling at him. Their faces are bright. Their eyes are warm. They are exactly as Hagrid described them. Harry feels a strange ache in his chest, a profound sense of longing. He reaches out a hand, tracing the faint outline of the figures in the glass. He sees more than just his parents. He sees a wider family, a small, dark-haired boy who looks like a younger version of himself, standing between his parents. A younger sister with bright, knowing eyes, clinging to his mother's hand. He sees a family. He sees a future where he is not alone, where he is loved, where he belongs. He sees himself not just happy, but fulfilled. He sees himself standing taller, wearing robes not of one house, but of a quiet, assured power. He sees himself respected. He sees himself at the heart of this family, the one who brought them together, the one who protects them. He feels the warmth of their presence, an impossible comfort that seeps into his cold bones. He feels their love. He feels their pride. He does not cry. He simply stares, absorbing the impossible image, etching it into his memory. This is what he wants. Not fame, not power for its own sake, but belonging, and the strength to keep it, the ability to defend it. The sound of footsteps outside the room. Fast, heavy. Harry snaps out of his trance, his heart leaping. He spins around, wand raised. The door swings open. Albus Dumbledore steps in, his long robes sweeping the floor. He smells faintly of lemon drops and old magic. His blue eyes, usually twinkling, are now serious, almost sorrowful. "So, you found it, Harry," Dumbledore says, his voice soft, gentle. He stands between Harry and the mirror, his gaze fixed on Harry's reflection. He sees what Harry sees. Harry lowers his wand slowly. "My parents. The words come out as a whisper. He feels exposed. He feels vulnerable. Dumbledore nods. And you see your family complete, I presume, the family you never knew. He turns to Harry, his eyes filled with a deep, compassionate understanding. The mirror of Erised shows us nothing more or less than the deepest, most desperate desires of our hearts. However, it is a deceptive thing. It gives us neither knowledge nor truth. Men have wasted away before it, entranced by what they see. A younger brother, a sister, children who never existed. Dumbledore's gaze is kind, but also distant, as if seeing beyond Harry into something far away. It is not good to dwell on dreams, Harry, and forget to live. Remember that. Dumbledore places a hand on Harry's shoulder, a warm, reassuring weight. He looks at Harry, a flicker of something new in his blue eyes, a reassessment. You are a Slytherin, Harry. You are resourceful. You are ambitious. You will make your own family. You will build your own legacy. But do not let this mirror define it. Harry feels a pang of disappointment, a cold wash of reality over the beautiful illusion. He looks back at the mirror. The figures are gone. Only his reflection stares back, looking small and alone. Dumbledore steps forward, his robes rustling. The mirror will be moved, Harry. It will be hidden. I ask that you do not seek it out again. Harry nods, unable to speak. He understands. Dumbledore turns and walks out of the room, leaving Harry alone again in the cold, dusty silence. Harry stands for a long time, staring at the empty spot where his family had been. He feels the cold ache return. He makes a promise to himself. He will not just dream of a family, he will build one, he will protect it, he will ensure it. This is his ambition. This is his goal. This is his driving force. February 1992, Hagrid's hut. The air in Hagrid's hut is warm, smelling strongly of wood smoke, old dog, and slightly burnt rock cakes. Harry sits on a massive armchair, the rough material scratching pleasantly against his robes. Fang, the enormous boarhound, snores contentedly at his feet. The flickering firelight casts dancing shadows on the walls. He feels the comforting warmth, a welcome reprieve from the cold dungeons. He has been coming to Hagrid's in secret for weeks now, slipping out of the common room under cover of darkness. Hagrid doesn't care that he's Slytherin. Hagrid just sees Harry. This is a comfort. This is a relief. Hagrid pushes a platter of his notoriously hard rock cakes across the table. Got word from Dumbledore, Harry. Says the Ministry is keeping an extra close eye on the school. Old Griselda Marchbanks, she's asking questions about certain unusual protections around the school. Hagrid sighs, a sound like a deflating bellows. He smells of damp earth and something distinctly wild. Harry carefully picks up a rock cake. It's dense, unyielding. He takes a tiny bite. It tastes like concrete and a faint sweetness. Protections? Harry asks, his voice low. He leans forward. He wants to know everything. He wants to understand. Hagrid nods, his bushy beard bouncing. Aye, more than usual. Dumbledore's put extra charms on that third-floor corridor. You know, the one where, well, best not to talk about it. He looks pointedly at Harry, his large, kind eyes shadowed. Harry knows he means Fluffy, the three-headed dog, the dog he stumbled upon months ago. Harry pretends ignorance. He bites down again on the rock cake. Right. He keeps his face carefully blank. He feels the prickle of revelation. So the Ministry knows asterisk about the protections. This implies something of great value is being protected, something dangerous, something everyone wants. Hagrid sighs again, louder this time. And then there's that fellow, Quirrell, the Dada teacher. Stuttering mess, always smells of garlic, if you ask me. Dumbledore seems to have him under his wing for some reason. But then again, Dumbledore's got a way of seeing things others don't. Hagrid stirs his tea, a steaming, murky brew that smells of strong herbs. Harry files away the information. Quirrell, the nervous, bumbling defense against the dark arts teacher. Harry had dismissed him as harmless. Now, Hagrid's words cast him in a new light. Dumbledore watches him. The Ministry watches the school. There is a connection. There is a puzzle. He feels a slow, strategic spark igniting within him. Heard about the Quidditch match next week? Hagrid suddenly changes topic, a wide, booming smile on his face. Gryffindor versus Slytherin should be a cracker. Shame you weren't picked for the team, Harry. You're good on a broom, I reckon. Harry smiles faintly. Perhaps next year. He lets the thought linger, a small, secret ambition. He sips his tea. It is thick and earthy. He has learned more tonight than he expected. He has gathered more clues. He has assembled more pieces. He will put them together. He will discover the whole picture. March 1992, Hogwarts Library. The library smells of old paper, leather bindings, and a faint, sweet aroma of parchment. Harry runs his hand along the spine of a dusty book on ancient curses. The air is cool still, save for the soft rustle of turning pages and the occasional muffled cough. He sits at a large oak table, surrounded by stacks of books he has pulled from various sections: charms, history of magic, obscure magical creature compendiums. He is searching. He is putting the pieces together. Beside him, Hermione Granger is bent over an enormous tome, her brow furrowed in concentration. She does not look up. She rarely does. Harry finds her presence comforting in its predictability. He had started to come to the library frequently, seeking answers to the mysteries of Hogwarts. Hermione was always here. Eventually, they developed a silent, grudging truce, occasionally passing notes with facts or pointing each other to a useful reference. It is not friendship, not yet. But it is an alliance of mutual scholarly ambition. He finds a passage on three-headed dogs. It speaks of a magical lullaby, a particular tune that can put them to sleep. He smiles to himself. Another piece. He scans more, searching for clues about the stone, about something valuable. He pulls a book from the restricted section, using a note Professor Vance had provided after Harry skillfully navigated a particularly difficult potions conundrum. It is titled The Darkest Arts of Necromancy and Transmutation. Its cover feels cold and smooth beneath his fingers. He opens it. The air around him suddenly feels colder, prickling his skin. The scent of ancient magic seems to intensify. He finds it, a single, short chapter on the Philosopher's Stone, its properties, its history, its ability to grant immortality to turn base metal into gold. The legend of Nicholas Flamel, its only known creator. Harry feels a surge of exhilaration. This is it. This is what Fluffy is guarding. This is what is at stake. This is what Quirrell wants. He glances at Hermione. She is still immersed in her book. He slips a small piece of parchment toward her, already written. Flamel, Philosopher's Stone, restricted section, page 234. Don't tell anyone. Hermione glances down at the note. Her eyes widen slightly. She looks up at Harry, a flicker of surprise, then something else, something like dawning comprehension in her gaze. She nods, a silent acknowledgement. She begins to turn pages in her own book, a feverish energy now animating her movements. He can almost hear her brain working, clicking into place. Harry continues to read. He learns of the stone's immense power. He learns of the dangers of its misuse. He understands now why Dumbledore has assembled such formidable defenses. He understands the whispers of the Ministry. He understands Quirrell's twitchiness, his garlic scent. Quirrell is not just clumsy, he is hiding something. Harry feels the certainty settle in his gut. He knows the threat. He knows the target. He knows the stakes. He will not let it be stolen. He will protect it. He will prevent the unimaginable. This is his task. This is his burden. April 1992, The Forbidden Forest. The air in the Forbidden Forest is thick with the scent of damp earth, decaying leaves, and something wild and primal. Moonlight filters through the dense canopy of trees, casting shifting shadows on the mossy ground. Harry's footsteps are careful, silent. He holds a lantern, its warm glow illuminating a small circle around him. He feels the cold fear again, gnawing at his edges, but he pushes past it. He has a plan. He has allies. Draco Malfoy walks beside him, his face pale and tight, his hand clutching his wand. "This is madness, Potter," he hisses, his voice barely a whisper. "Professor Vance would have our heads. Professor Snape would, well, I don't even want to imagine what he would do." He smells of panic. Harry ignores him. He needs help, Malfoy. Someone needs to stop Quirrell. They found out Quirrell had slipped past one of the defenses. He knew where Quirrell was going. He knew what Quirrell wanted. The clues from the library, from Hagrid, from the cryptic remarks of Vance, all coalesced. Blaise Zabini follows a few paces behind, his movements fluid, silent. He seems calmer than Malfoy, more calculating. Pansy Parkinson, however, trails reluctantly, casting nervous glances into the deeper shadows of the forest. "This is not a Slytherin move," she mutters, more to herself than to anyone else. "This is reckless." "It's effective," Harry counters, his voice low, firm. Quirrell is after the stone. We know the path. We know the defenses. We are here to ensure he doesn't succeed. We are here to protect Hogwarts. He is not Gryffindor. He is not reckless. He is decisive. He is taking action. They reach the entrance to the Forbidden Chamber, a gaping hole in the earth hidden by thick ivy. The smell of something ancient and metallic emanates from within. The air here is heavy, oppressive. It seems to suck the light from the lantern. "How do we get past Fluffy?" Malfoy asks, his voice trembling. He stares into the darkness. Harry reaches into his pocket. He pulls out a small, ornate flute. "I learned it from a book on mythical beasts. Certain tones put them to sleep." He raises the flute to his lips. He plays. A high, reedy melody fills the air, sweet and strangely mournful. It cuts through the tension. It floats into the darkness. A moment passes, two. Then a low, rumbling snore, impossibly loud, echoes from the depths of the hole. It is followed by another, and another. Fluffy is asleep. Harry lowers the flute. "Ingenious," Blaise Zabini murmurs, a rare glint of admiration in his eyes. Harry looks at them, his Slytherin companions. They are here, they are with him. He feels a quiet sense of pride. He does not need loud friendships. He needs reliable ones. He needs clever ones. They climb down a rough rope, into the darkness. They fall through the devil's snare, Harry quickly remembering a tip Professor Sprout mentioned in passing about light and warmth against the sentient plant. Blaise conjures a tiny, contained flame, burning the plant away just enough to get them through. They fly through the chamber of flying keys, Pansy revealing a surprising knack for broom handling, snatching the key from the air. Draco uses his excellent chess skills to maneuver the giant chess pieces, a grin finally breaking through his fear as he checkmates the opposing king. They work together. They move as one unit. They are resourceful. They are cunning. They are Slytherin. Finally, they stand before a chamber where a table holds 7 oddly shaped bottles. "Potions," Harry whispers. He smells the sharp tang of various chemical compounds. "Snape's puzzle." Blaise examines them carefully. One to go forward, one to go back. The rest are poison, logic puzzle, simple acid-base reactions, really? Blaise selects 2 bottles, pouring one for Harry and taking the other himself. "To move forward, we take this. To go back, the other. We only have enough for 2 to proceed." Harry looks at the 2 bottles. He looks at Malfoy and Pansy. "Go back," he says, his voice firm. "Inform Professor Vance. We will deal with Quirrell." Malfoy protests. Pansy looks relieved. Blaise nods. "You are right, reinforcements, the pragmatic approach." Harry and Blaise drink the potion. It tastes like fire and ice. They step through the black flames that guard the passage. They are alone now. They are ready. May 1992, the Final Confrontation. The chamber beyond the black flames is bathed in a sickly green light. It smells of stale blood, cold stone, and something cloying and sweet, like decaying roses. Harry's hand tightens on his wand. Blaise stands beside him, his expression grim, his own wand held ready. Quirrell stands before the mirror of Erised, his back to them, his stuttering voice barely audible. He is muttering to himself, to the mirror, to something unseen. "I cannot reach it. Master, my will is not strong enough." Harry glances at the mirror. He sees his own reflection, and within the mirror, not his parents, but the philosopher's stone, shimmering red, resting in his reflection's hand. He sees Quirrell's face contorted in frustrated greed, his reflection also grasping at the stone in the mirror, unable to reach. "Professor Quirrell," Harry says, his voice cutting through the silence. "The stone, it's in the mirror, you can't take it." Quirrell spins around, his face twitching. His normally timid eyes are now blazing with a manic, terrifying fury. The scent of garlic is overwhelming. "Potter and Zabini, how did you foolish children, you dare interfere?" A deep, chilling voice emanates from Quirrell's head, seemingly from behind his turban. "He knows, Quirrell, he always knows. Finish him. Take the stone. It is time." Quirrell clutches his head. He screams, a high-pitched, desperate sound. He pulls off his turban. The revelation is grotesque. On the back of his head, where his scalp should be, a second face emerges, pallid and snake-like, red eyes gleaming with malevolent power. It is Voldemort. Harry feels a cold dread spread through him, colder than any dungeon. This is true evil. This is the monster that murdered his parents. He does not run. He does not scream. He raises his wand. Blaise does the same, his face pale but firm. "Give me the stone, Potter," Voldemort hisses through Quirrell's mouth, "and you may live." "Never," Harry says, his voice surprisingly steady. He thinks of his family in the mirror. He thinks of the promise he made. Voldemort laughs, a dry, rasping sound. "Foolish boy, you think you can stop me? Your friends are gone. Your old Gryffindor head of house, Snape, is too busy brooding in his office. You are alone." A flicker of rage ignites in Harry. He remembers Snape's cold stare, his disdain. He remembers the feeling of being judged, of being unwanted by a Gryffindor. But he is not alone. Blaise stands beside him. His Slytherin allies fought through the challenges. He is Slytherin. He is resourceful. "Expelliarmus," Harry shouts, his voice firm, projecting every ounce of his will. A jet of red light shoots from his wand, striking Quirrell S. Quirrell stumbles. Voldemort roars, a sound of pure fury. Quirrell retaliates, a green jet of light erupting from his wand. Blaise casts a shielding charm, his precise movements blocking the worst of the curse. The battle is fast, furious. Harry dodges another curse, rolling behind a pedestal, feeling the heat of the spell scorch the air above him. "You have your mother's eyes, boy," Voldemort sneers, his voice chilling. "And your father's foolish courage. You will die like them." Harry pushes himself up. He thinks of Professor Vance's lessons on exploiting weakness. Quirrell is a conduit, Voldemort a parasite. The plan forms. He needs to incapacitate Quirrell without directly confronting Voldemort's full power. He needs to separate them. He needs to find the weakness. "Blaise, his hands, don't let him touch me," Harry shouts, remembering the burning touch of Quirrell from a fleeting encounter earlier in the year. Blaise understands. He fires off a series of stinging hexes, aiming for Quirrell's arms and hands. Quirrell shrieks, dropping his wand for a moment, his focus broken. Harry seizes the opportunity. He lunges, not for Quirrell's wand, but for his head. He grabs Quirrell's face, ignoring the searing pain that shoots up his arm. Quirrell screams, a terrible, desperate sound. His skin begins to blister and smoke where Harry touches it. Voldemort screams too, a higher, more inhuman shriek as his host begins to collapse. Harry holds on, ignoring the agony. He pushes his defiance, his raw courage, his sheer will into his touch. He feels the burning pain, but he does not let go. He will not let go. Quirrell thrashes, his body disintegrating into ash. Voldemort's face twists, melts, then bursts into a black, smoke-like essence, shrieking as it flees through the ceiling. Harry collapses, gasping, his arm feeling raw, burnt. The smell of charred flesh fills the chamber. Blaise rushes to him, his face etched with concern. "Harry, are you all right?" Harry clutches his arm. The pain is intense, but the chamber is empty now, save for them. The Philosopher's Stone glows softly in the mirror. He managed. He did it. He saved it. June 1992, end-of-year feast. The Great Hall is decked in silver and green banners. Cheers erupt from the Slytherin table as Professor Vance announces the House Cup winner. For cunning, for ambition, for unparalleled resourcefulness, and for a truly exceptional contribution to the protection of Hogwarts. Vance pauses, a rare, almost proud smile on his face. "I award Slytherin House 500 points for services rendered this year by Harry Potter." The cheers are deafening. The Slytherin table rises, a wave of green and silver, stomping and yelling. Draco Malfoy claps Harry on the back, a genuine, wide grin on his face. Pansy Parkinson raises her goblet in salute. Blaise Zabini, always composed, allows himself a small, approving nod. Harry feels a surge of pride, deep and resonant. He is Slytherin. He has made his mark. He has earned his place. He glances at the high table. Dumbledore smiles, his eyes twinkling, a profound look of understanding on his face. Professor McGonagall gives a slight, almost imperceptible nod, and then his gaze falls on Severus Snape. Snape sits among the Gryffindors, his face as severe as ever, but for a single, fleeting moment, his eyes meet Harry's. A micro-expression flickers across Snape's face, something that could almost be grudging respect, quickly veiled. Then it is gone. The smell of roast turkey, treacle tart, and general celebration fills the hall. Harry looks at his friends, his allies, his house. He thinks of the year, of the choices made, of the path taken. It was not the path he had imagined. It was not the path of a hero in a fairy tale. It was the path of the cunning, the strategic, the ambitious. It was his path. He survived. He fought. He triumphed. He is Harry Potter, a Slytherin, and he is ready for whatever comes next. The year ends. The path continues. The scent of dust and ancient magic hangs heavy in the library air. September 1992, the first whispers begin. Harry sits with Blaise and Draco, poring over texts on dark magic, curses, and forgotten beasts. The Chamber of Secrets. They heard the legend. They saw the fear in the eyes of the other students. A monster, Draco mutters, tracing a diagram of a creature with too many eyes. Something to purge the unworthy. Harry feels a prickle of unease, not fear, but a cold analytical interest. He is not unworthy. His house is pure. The attacks begin with Mrs. Norris, petrified, hanging from a torch bracket. The message scrawled on the wall, shining in blood red. The chamber of Secrets has been opened. Enemies of the air, beware. He walks the halls, observing. The fear is a palpable thing, a chill that seeps into the stone. Teachers whisper. Dumbledore projects calm, but Harry sees the tightness around his eyes. He watches the others, the terrified first years, the indignant Gryffindors, the wary Ravenclaws. He watches the Muggleborns, their faces pale, their eyes darting nervously. Harry speaks to Blaise in hushed tones, their heads bent over a potions textbook, feigning study. Who gains from this? What is the goal? Blaise, ever pragmatic, shrugs. Purity, a purge. It sounds like something a pureblood fanatic would orchestrate. Perhaps a lost heir, resentful of the changing times. Draco, surprisingly, does not gloat. He looks grim, his usual sneer replaced by a thoughtful frown. My father speaks of the chamber, of a time when Slytherin's heir would return. He thinks it's a good thing to cleanse the school, but not like this, not with petrification. Too messy, too much attention. The second attack is Colin Creevey, then Justin Finch-Fletchley. Harry sees the rising panic. He feels the weight of his house. Slytherin is under scrutiny, some whisper of Malfoy. Others of Harry himself, the famous boy who lived, the one who defied tradition by being sorted into green and silver. He decides he must find the truth. He cannot allow suspicion to fester around his house. He cannot allow this threat to go unchecked. He is resourceful. He is a Slytherin. October 1992, the girls' bathroom. Harry and Blaise follow a hunch. Moaning Myrtle's wails echo from within, a mournful, drawn-out sound. They find Hermione Granger and Padma Patil, petrified, their bodies rigid, their eyes glassy. The air is cold, damp, smelling of old soap and fear. A small, black leather-bound book lies on the floor beside Padma. Harry bends, picks it up. A diary, Tom Riddle. He shows it to Blaise later, in the quiet of their dormitory, the velvet hangings muffling the sounds of the castle. No date, just a name. Blaise examines it, a frown on his face. Odd, why would a Muggleborn have this? Perhaps it's not hers. Perhaps it was left for her. Perhaps it was meant for someone else. Harry feels a strange pull from the diary, a subtle hum of old magic, a promise of revelation. It feels important. It feels like a key. He starts writing in it, at first out of curiosity, then out of a growing fascination, a desire to understand its power. My name is Harry Potter. The ink vanishes, absorbed into the faded pages. Hello, Harry Potter. My name is Tom Riddle. The diary responds. It shows him a memory, a vision of Hagrid and a giant spider, of a past expulsion from Hogwarts. Riddle, charming and articulate, presents himself as the innocent victim, a diligent prefect who caught the true culprit. Harry feels a flicker of unease at Hagrid's apparent guilt, but Riddle's conviction is compelling. Riddle speaks to him, understands him, seems to respect his cunning, his intelligence. He seems to offer answers. Harry does not immediately trust Riddle, but he listens. He is cautious. He seeks knowledge. Riddle speaks of the past, of Slytherin's heir, of the noble quest to purify the school, to cleanse it of undesirables. He appeals to Harry's sense of belonging, his newfound Slytherin identity. He paints a picture of a glorious past. He keeps the diary a secret from Blaise and Draco. This is his puzzle. This is his investigation. He is ambitious. He is a Slytherin. He feels a proprietary claim over the information Riddle provides. He feels closer to understanding the monster. He needs to understand the monster before he can defeat it. He needs to understand the enemy. November 1992, the hospital wing. Dumbledore is gone, replaced by a stern-faced Dolores Umbridge for a brief, unsettling period, her saccharine smile doing little to soothe nerves. The school feels colder, more hostile, stripped of its protector. Attacks continue. Students are packing. Harry fears the school will close. He cannot let that happen. Hogwarts is his home. His Slytherin home. Riddle shows him more. He reveals the entrance to the chamber. He reveals the purpose of the attacks. Harry feels a thrill of cold clarity. He sees the path. He sees the enemy. He sees the opportunity to prove himself. He sees what he must do. He sees the final confrontation. He goes to Blaise, pulling him into an empty classroom, the air thick with chalk dust. I know who it is, and I know where it is. Blaise's eyes widen, his composure momentarily broken. Potter, what have you done? I haven't done anything. I've learned asterisk. Harry shows him the diary, its innocent cover belying its sinister contents. He explains Riddle's story, omitting the creeping feeling of wrongness, focusing on the tactical information. The chamber is under the girls' bathroom, moaning myrtles, and the monster is a basilisk. Blaise stares at the diary, a flicker of fear in his gaze. And you trust this phantom, this spirit in a book? I trust the information. Riddle is using me, but I am using him too. He wants to finish the purification. I want to stop it. I want to expose him. Harry knows it sounds dangerous. He knows it is asterisk dangerous. But he feels a surge of conviction. He will protect his school. He will protect his house. He will prove himself. He will act. He will be decisive. They formulate a plan. Harry will confront Riddle in the chamber. Blaise will create a diversion, alert a trusted teacher, perhaps Professor Vance, their head of house, if Harry doesn't return within a specific time. They need leverage. They need a tactical advantage. They need an exit strategy. December 1992, deep within the Chamber of Secrets. Harry descends alone, Parseltongue hissing the entrance open, the stone walls sliding apart with a grinding sound. The long, winding tunnel, the monstrous serpentine carvings, the bone-strewn floor. The air is thick with ancient magic and the smell of death, a cold, metallic tang. He finds Ginny Weasley unconscious, her face ashen, her body limp. And Tom Riddle, solid and real, standing over her, holding Harry's own wand. So, the famous Harry Potter, a Slytherin, finally comes to face his destiny, Riddle says, his voice smooth, chilling, echoing in the vast chamber. You played your part well, Harry. You helped me grow strong. You helped me finish Slytherin's work. Harry feels a cold dread, a profound betrayal. Riddle was never an ally. He was the enemy all along. He was the one twisting the knife. He was the one using Harry's ambition against him. You're Voldemort, Harry says, his voice flat, his anger a cold flame in his chest. He feels a surge of raw, untamed fury. He hates being manipulated. He hates being played for a fool. Riddle laughs, a high, triumphant sound that grates on Harry's nerves. Indeed, a memory, yes, but a powerful one, powerful enough to return. Fawkes, Dumbledore's phoenix, flies into the chamber, a flash of scarlet and gold, dropping the sorting hat at Harry's feet. Harry feels a surge of something unexpected hope, a glimmer in the darkness. The hat provides the sword of Gryffindor, its jeweled hilt gleaming. Harry grips its jeweled hilt, the metal cold and firm. He is Slytherin, but he will fight with courage. He will fight with a Gryffindor weapon if it means victory. The basilisk emerges, vast and green, its scales shimmering like emeralds, its eyes burning with lethal power. Harry ducks, weaving, using the chamber's pillars for cover, the sound of its movement like a landslide. He hears Riddle's triumphant shouts, mocking and cruel. He feels the immense pressure of the basilisk's presence, the searing pain of its venom as a fang pierces his arm, hot and agonizing. He knows he must kill it. He knows he must destroy the diary. He remembers Blaise's pragmatism. He remembers Professor Vance's lessons on identifying and exploiting weakness. The basilisk is blind if it doesn't look directly at you. It is a creature of instinct, not cunning. He ducks beneath its snapping jaws, scales scraping against his robes, the stench of its breath overwhelming. He plunges the sword of Gryffindor upwards, aiming for the roof of its mouth. The creature thrashes, a mountain of muscle and venom. It shrieks, a sound that tears through the air. It dies. Harry pulls the fang from his arm. The pain is unbearable. The venom courses through him, numbing, burning, blurring his vision. He stumbles towards the diary, his feet dragging. He sees Riddle's triumphant, taunting face begin to fade, his arrogance turning to fear. He stabs the fang into the diary, again and again. Black ink pours out like blood, sizzling, smoking, screaming. Riddle screams too, a long, drawn-out sound of agony and annihilation. The image of the young Voldemort shimmers, cracks, and vanishes. Harry collapses, gasping for breath, clutching his arm. Fawkes lands beside him, tears falling onto his wound, shining like diamonds. The burning sensation fades. The venom retreats. He is healed. He stumbles out of the chamber, carrying Ginny, her light weight a burden of responsibility. He finds Blaise, frantic, waiting outside, moaning Myrtle's bathroom. "Harry, what happened? What took so long?" Blaise helps him support Ginny. "I stopped it," Harry says, his voice hoarse raw. "Riddle, Voldemort, he was controlling Ginny. It's over." The school learns the truth. Harry Potter, the Slytherin, saved them all. He faced the monster alone. He destroyed the heir of Slytherin. Dumbledore meets his gaze, a quiet understanding in his old eyes, a profound depth of knowledge. He acknowledges Harry's bravery, his resourcefulness, his willingness to act, his cunning in facing the unseen threat. Harry feels a deep satisfaction. He has proven his worth. He has protected his own. He has established his power. The chamber is closed. The school is safe. He feels a surge of quiet triumph. June 1993, the start of summer. Harry stands on platform 9 and 3-4, the train hissing steam, a metallic scent in the air. The whispers follow him like a shadow, the boy who saved them, the Slytherin heir. He feels the eyes, a mixture of awe and suspicion, of grudging respect and lingering distrust. He carries his triumphs but also the weight of expectation. He is not just Harry Potter. He is Harry Potter, a Slytherin. The news breaks over the summer. Sirius Black, a mass murderer, has escaped Azkaban. Harry remembers the stories, the gruesome details of his parents' deaths. He feels a cold knot in his stomach. Black was their friend. Black betrayed them. He pictures a maniacal face, a dark mark, a symbol of treachery. September 1993, the Hogwarts Express. The train judders to a halt, rattling its windows. The lights flicker, then die, plunging the compartment into darkness. A profound cold descends, sucking warmth, happiness, and hope from the air, leaving a hollow ache. Harry feels the dread, a crushing weight on his chest, a memory of his mother's last scream, of a chilling green light. Dementors. Black is being hunted, and they are here for him. Professor Lupin, the new defense against dark arts teacher, arrives, casting a Patronus that drives the Dementors away, a surge of silver light. Harry watches the silver mist, the light, the warmth returning, slowly, painfully. He watches Lupin, a man who knows his father. He feels a strange sense of familiarity and an analytical curiosity. Lupin is kind but also guarded, his eyes shadowed by old pain. He sees the traces of sorrow in Lupin's eyes, the weariness of a man who has seen too much. Harry approaches Lupin cautiously. He wants to know about his father. He wants to understand the betrayal. He wants to know why. He feels a need to dissect the past, to understand the motivations, to learn from it, to extract the truth. "Professor," Harry begins, his voice even in Lupin's office, the comforting scent of old books and something sweet, like pipe tobacco, filling the air. "You knew my parents, and Sirius Black." Lupin nods, his face etched with pain. "I did, Harry, they were good people, remarkable in their time." "And Black," Harry presses, "was he a good person?" Lupin hesitates, his gaze distant. "He was complex, a very loyal friend to your father, until he was." Harry studies Lupin. He sees a man burdened by secrets. He sees a man who cares. He feels a pull to understand, to uncover the hidden truths. Lupin teaches him the Patronus charm, a difficult, draining magic. Harry struggles not with the power, but with finding a happy memory strong enough to counteract the Dementor's chill. He uses the memory of his first year, the defeat of Quirrell, the Slytherin House Cup, the shared triumph with Blaise and Draco. He needs to find his own joy, his own strength, not just rely on memories of his parents. October 1993, the common room. Draco Malfoy, still bearing the grudge of the Hippogriff, tries to bait Harry, his voice a sneer. "Your father was a bully, Potter. You're just like him, trying to act all high and mighty now you've saved the school. But you're nothing but a spoiled pureblood brat, arrogant and self-serving. Harry feels a flash of anger, a hot surge, but then a cold, analytical thought takes over. Draco is projecting. He is also reflecting what others, including Snape, might think, a whispered truth. It makes Harry consider his father differently. Lupin speaks of the Marauders' pranks, of James and Sirius, charming and popular, but also arrogant. Lupin paints a picture of youthful exuberance, but Harry sees the lines of a subtle cruelty, a casual disdain for those outside their tight circle, a pureblood entitlement. He hears of their legendary charm, their athletic prowess, their effortless popularity. He hears of their relentless targeting of Snape, a fellow Gryffindor, a housemate. It leaves a bitter taste, a sense of injustice. He hears the stories of Snape, a Gryffindor, enduring their taunts and hexes. Harry feels a flicker of understanding for Snape's bitterness, his ingrained distrust of Gryffindors, even as Snape now sits among them. Snape, the bullied, became the bully directed at Harry. It's a vicious cycle. Harry observes Snape's continued coldness towards him, a deep-seated animosity that seems to transcend even house loyalty, a constant, chilly presence. He doesn't dismiss it as petty. He sees the logic, the pattern of resentment. He resolves not to be like that. He will be powerful, yes, but he will be strategic, not cruel for cruelty's sake. He will not indulge in casual sadism. He will not give anyone a reason to hate him with such intensity. He will be smarter. He will be better. He needs to know the truth about Black. The Ministry narrative feels too simple, too clean. He is a Slytherin. He does not trust simple narratives. He trusts proof. He trusts his own judgment. He confides in Blaise, outlining his suspicions, the glaring inconsistencies in the official story. Why would Black betray them and then go after *U? It makes no sense, unless he's innocent and he wants to clear his name, or he has another target. Blaise considers, tapping a thoughtful finger against his chin, or he is a madman, making illogical choices. Madmen make choices too, Harry counters. Driven by something, I need to know what. He feels the weight of his legacy. He will not let it be defined by lies or convenient narratives. He will seek the truth. He will uncover the conspiracy. He will understand his past. November 1993, The Shrieking Shack. Harry, Ron, and Hermione follow Sirius Black and Lupin, the wind howling around the dilapidated building. Snape bursts in, wand drawn, his face contorted by rage, still bearing the old grudges, still seeing Black as the cause of his suffering, still seeing Harry as a miniature James. Snape wants vengeance. Snape wants justice, his own version of it, distorted by years of pain. I found you, Black, Snape snarls, his voice dripping with venom. At last, the traitor gets what he deserves. Harry watches the raw hatred in Snape's eyes. He sees the history, the pain, the decades of animosity. He also sees the blind spots. Snape is not seeing the truth, he is seeing his past. Lupin reveals the truth. Pettigrew is alive, a rat named Scabbers. The revelation hits Harry like a physical blow, a stunning force. Peter Pettigrew, his father's other friend, the one thought dead, was the real traitor. Black was framed. Harry feels a surge of fury at the injustice, at the deception, at the betrayal of friendship. He feels a powerful drive to rectify it. Black, the innocent, deserved freedom. Black, a connection to his family, deserved a chance. Black, a man wronged, represented a potential ally. He and Hermione, with Ron's reluctant agreement, witnessed the truth. Pettigrew's confession under wand point is gut-wrenching, pathetic. The little rat, pathetic and cowardly, sold his best friends to Voldemort. Harry feels a deep disgust. This is the kind of weakness, the kind of betrayal, a true Slytherin despises. They capture Pettigrew, but the moon is full. Lupin transforms. Chaos erupts, a primal, guttural roar. Dementors swarm, their icy cold spreading through the air. Harry knows what he must do. He will save Sirius. He will protect his own. He will not let injustice stand. He will use his knowledge. He will use his power. He will act. He will be decisive. December 1993, by the lake. Harry and Hermione, using Hermione's time turner, travel back hours. They hide, observing the cold air biting at their exposed skin. Harry watches his past self, his friends, the Dementors. He sees the moment they are overwhelmed, on the brink of losing their souls. He sees Sirius on the verge of having his soul sucked out. He sees himself. The air crackles with the cold, the desperation, the encroaching terror. The fear is a physical presence. "We have to be careful," Hermione whispers, her eyes wide with apprehension. "One wrong move." "I know," Harry says, his voice firm, resolute. He feels the weight of responsibility, the chill of time travel. He knows the stakes. He knows the consequences. He calculates the timing, the optimal moment to intervene, to strike. He does not act impulsively. He acts with precision. He acts with purpose. He steps forward. He casts the Patronus, a magnificent silver stag, bright and fierce, blazing with light. It drives back the Dementors, a blinding surge of warmth and defiance. He sees the relief on Sirius's face, on his own past face. He saves them. He saves Sirius. The Dementors recoil, their dark cloaks flapping in dismay, dissolving into the night. The chill begins to recede. The world breathes again. They take Pettigrew to Dumbledore's office. Snape, grudgingly, accepts the evidence, his face a mask of disbelief and unwilling acceptance. The truth, however painful, cannot be denied. Pettigrew is delivered to the Ministry. Sirius Black is cleared. He is a free man. A great injustice is undone. A tactical error by the Ministry is corrected. Harry meets Sirius in Dumbledore's office, the scent of lemon drops and ancient parchment filling the air. Sirius is gaunt, scarred, but his eyes shine with a fierce, untamed joy, a wild freedom. He offers Harry a home. He offers him family. Harry feels a profound connection. He has found a piece of his lost world. He has a protector, a blood relative who understands his past. This is an advantage. This is a strength. This is family. He now has direct access to the legacy of his parents, unfiltered by Dumbledore or the Ministry. He has a link to the pureblood world, a powerful name, a network. He has a future that looks different now. Sirius, no longer a fugitive, takes a more active role. He visits Harry at Hogwarts under disguise. He writes letters. He advises Harry. He becomes a steady presence, a link to a past Harry now views with more nuance. Harry still sees his father through Lupin's stories, a powerful, charismatic figure, but flawed. He understands the complexities. He understands the friendships, the betrayals, the choices. He understands that strength comes in many forms, not just overt heroics. He understands that truth, meticulously uncovered, is a powerful weapon. He has saved an innocent man. He has changed the narrative. He has gained an ally. He is ready for what comes next. He is prepared. He is vigilant. He is Slytherin. September 1994, the Great Hall. A buzz of anticipation fills the air, thick and sweet like spilled mead, mingled with the earthy scent of 1,000 anxious breaths. The Triwizard Tournament. Hogwarts plays host, its ancient stones humming with a restless energy. Harry watches as the students, particularly the older ones, fill with dreams of glory and gold. He feels a detached amusement, a cool analysis of their aspirations. He has faced true danger. He has conquered a basilisk deep within the school's foundations. He has exposed a plot to revive Voldemort's insidious memory. This tournament, with its public spectacle and artificial challenges, feels like a children's game, a dangerous diversion. He has his allies, his freedom, his strength. He has no need for ephemeral public spectacles. His ambition is not for fleeting fame, a transient echo of achievement. He finds the allure of glory, for its own sake, rather shallow. He values power, influence, and strategic advantage. He values true security, a hidden strength. He values tangible control over his own destiny. Professor Dumbledore announces the age restriction, his voice booming but carrying a note of caution. Harry sees the widespread frustration on many faces, a ripple of disappointment through the younger years. He feels a sense of relief, a quiet satisfaction that he is exempt from this folly, from the manufactured risks. He has no intention of putting his life on the line for a goblet of gold and eternal glory. His Slytherin ambition is focused on more substantial, long-term goals. He has a future to build, carefully, intelligently. He has a family in Sirius to protect, a connection forged in truth and loyalty. But the relief is short-lived. October 1994, the Goblet of Fire glows, its ancient magic thrumming, then spits out a fourth name: Harry Potter. The hall erupts, gasps, shouts, confusion. The noise is a physical assault, a wave of accusation and disbelief washing over him. Harry feels a cold fury rising within him, a burning ember in his gut. He is being manipulated. He is being used. Again. He sees the angry, suspicious faces of students who believe he cheated. He hears the whispers of rule-breaking, of craving attention, of his innate Gryffindor-like need for the spotlight. He sees the knowing, cynical look on Draco Malfoy's face, a silent accusation of blatant disregard for rules, for a hungry reach for power. He knows he didn't put his name in. He knows someone else did. He feels a visceral hatred for whoever is orchestrating this, for twisting his name into a weapon against him. This is an attack. This is a trap. He will not be a pawn. He will find the puppet master. He will take control. He will turn this treacherous situation to his decisive advantage. Dumbledore, McGonagall, Snape, all look grim, their faces etched with concern or suspicion. Snape, of course, casts a look of pure disdain at Harry, a silent accusation of attention-seeking, of an unquenchable thirst for glory, even in Gryffindor robes. Harry ignores him, his focus unwavering. He meets Dumbledore's twinkling eyes with a hard, unyielding stare, a silent promise of defiance and determination. He will participate, yes, but he will do so on his own terms. He will uncover the truth. He will expose the deception. He will survive. He will conquer. He will emerge victorious, not just in the tournament, but over the insidious plot itself. He discusses the situation with Sirius via Owl, the parchment smelling faintly of the outdoors, of dog hair and distant freedom. Then with Blaise and Draco in the quiet, greenlit sanctuary of the Slytherin common room. "This is a setup," Blaise states, his voice calm, analytical, his long fingers tracing patterns on the polished common room table. "Someone wants you in that tournament, someone powerful, someone who can fool Dumbledore's magic and bypass age lines with casual ease." Draco nods, surprisingly serious, his usual bravado muted by genuine concern. "My father would call this an elegant plan. Dangerous but elegant. They want you dead, Potter, or worse, to be a pawn in something larger. A ritual, perhaps, a sacrifice." Harry feels the heavy weight of their words, the grim reality of his predicament. He acknowledges the danger. He acknowledges the manipulation. But he also recognizes the opportunity hidden within the peril. He is in the game. He will play to win. He will play to expose. He will use every resource available to him. He will use every shred of cunning he possesses. He starts his research, poring over ancient texts on magical contracts, on loopholes, on obscure methods of bypassing magical protections. The library becomes his war room, its dusty shelves his arsenal of knowledge. He studies the history of the Triwizard Tournament, looking for patterns, for weaknesses, for historical precedents of dark magic use. He does not rely on luck. He relies on strategy. He relies on knowledge. He relies on his own sharp intellect. He relies on meticulous preparation. The first task approaches. Dragons. November 1994, the Dragon Enclosure. The air is electric, charged with the nervous energy of the crowd and the primal, guttural roar of the beasts. Harry watches the other champions, Crumb and Delacour, prepare, their faces etched with a mix of fear and determination. He watches Cedric Diggory, a Hufflepuff, focused and earnest, adjusting his stance, his brow furrowed with concentration. Harry feels a strange kinship with Cedric, another unintended champion, another victim of the hidden machinations, pulled unwillingly into the vortex. He sees Cedric's innate goodness, his sense of fair play, a straightforward honor. Harry decides to approach him, seeking an alliance. "Diggory," Harry says, his voice low, in the quiet, canvas-scented champions, tent, smelling of fear and the metallic tang of dragon's breath, a harsh, sulfuric undertone. "Someone wants us in this tournament for a reason. There's a plot afoot. You should be wary." Cedric looks surprised, his brow furrowed, his eyes wary. "Potter, why are you telling me this? Is this some sort of trick?" "Because we're both targets, Diggory, and we might need to work together if we want to survive, and discover who is behind this." Harry sees the flicker of skepticism, then understanding, then a grudging acceptance in Cedric's eyes. Cedric values fairness. Cedric values justice. He values truth. Harry shares a piece of information he gleaned from his research: how to get past the dragon. A simple, well-placed Confundus charm to disorient the beast, to temporarily cloud its formidable mind. Not flashy, not heroic, but effective, allowing for retrieval of the egg with minimal risk. He tells Cedric, not out of pure altruism, but out of strategic calculation. An ally is better than a rival, especially when the enemy is unknown, especially when both are in dire danger. He also feels a grudging respect for Cedric's upright nature, a quality he found rare among some of the more arrogant purebloods. Cedric uses the charm. He retrieves his golden egg, his face pale but triumphant, a bead of sweat tracing a path down his temple. Harry, in turn, finds his own way, using a sophisticated vanishing charm on himself, becoming invisible to the dragon until he can snatch the egg from under its nose, a silent, precise maneuver. His performance is efficient, precise, and devoid of grandstanding. He is not here for applause. He is here for survival. He is here for strategy. He is here for the win. He is here to expose the truth. December 1994, the Yule Ball. The festive atmosphere feels like a thin veneer over the tension of the tournament, a shimmering facade. Harry attends with Pansy Parkinson, a calculated move to reinforce his Slytherin image and quell rumors, to project an air of normalcy. The scent of perfume and formal robes mixes with the subtle smell of suspicion and ambition in the air. He observes the other champions, the ministry officials, searching for tells for inconsistencies for any sign of the puppet master. He notices the subtle oddities of Moody, the new defense against dark arts teacher. He notices the way Moody stares at him, with an intensity that feels more predatory than protective, a gaze that lingers too long, too knowingly. He starts to compile a mental list of suspicions, a growing dossier of red flags. He trusts his instincts. He trusts his observations. He trusts his allies. He trusts the cold logic of suspicion. The second task, the Black Lake. February 1995, the cold, dark depths. Harry uses a gillyweed, procured from Dobby, a house elf he encountered during the summer, now a loyal, if eccentric, informant. The water is frigid, the visibility poor, smelling of stagnant weeds and ancient magic, a forgotten world beneath the surface. He navigates the lake, observing the merpeople, their eerie, mournful songs echoing through the water, dodging the snapping grindylows, their sharp teeth gleaming in the gloom. He finds Ron and Hermione, alongside Cedric's chosen person, Cho Chang, and Crum's chosen person, floating in an enchanted slumber. He sees Cedric struggling, entangled in thick, slimy weeds but still protecting Cho with a desperate tenacity, his air bubble flickering. Harry, remembering their earlier alliance, quickly helps Cedric free Cho, cutting the weeds with a sharp slice of magic. He ensures all are safe. He is not a pure altruist, but he understands the value of a debt owed, of a cooperative spirit, of a life saved that could be repaid. He collects Ron. He surfaces with purpose. He surfaces with his ally. He surfaces with his friend. The points are awarded. Harry and Cedric tie for first. Dumbledore commends their bravery, their resourcefulness, their cooperation, his eyes twinkling with an approval that Harry finds strangely satisfying. Harry feels a surge of quiet pride. He has played the game. He has adapted. He has prevailed. He has not sought glory, but he has earned respect. He has advanced his cause. He has strengthened his position. March 1995, Moody's office. Harry feels a growing, gnawing unease about Moody. The constant vigilance, the strange, worrying eye, the odd comments, the inexplicable, intimate knowledge of his own life. He decides to investigate. He is Slytherin. He does not ignore discrepancies. He trusts his gut, his inner alarm system. He uses his invisibility cloak, slipping into Moody's office after hours, the scent of old leather and something acrid, like potent chemicals, hanging heavy in the air. He searches meticulously, observing every detail, every loose floorboard, every hidden drawer. He finds a hidden compartment, a small, worn chest. Inside, a vial of polyjuice potion, fresh and bubbling, a half-empty flask beside it. A cold knot forms in his stomach, tightening with dread. This is not the real Moody. This is a terrifying revelation. This is deep, pervasive deception. He rushes to Blaise and Draco, his heart pounding a frantic rhythm against his ribs, the words tumbling out in a hushed torrent. Moody is an imposter. He's using polyjuice potion. He's the one who put my name in the goblet. He's been here all year. Blaise's face is grim, his usual composure faltering, his eyes widening with dawning comprehension. This is big, Harry. This is a ministry official. A powerful dark wizard behind the disguise, a master of deception, a long-term player. Draco's eyes are wide, a genuine fear mingling with awe at the sheer cunning involved. My father spoke of such things, highly dangerous. Who is he then? And what does he want with you? Why the tournament? Harry shares his fear, his voice a low growl filled with a primal certainty. He wants me in the tournament. He wants me to reach the end. The cup is a portkey. It has to be. He's delivering me to someone. He feels a chill of understanding, a sudden, terrifying clarity. This is not about the cup. This is about Voldemort. This is about sacrifice. This is about his life. They devise a plan, swift and urgent. They cannot expose Moody directly without irrefutable proof, and without risking their own lives to a powerful, desperate dark wizard. They must play along but be prepared for anything. Harry must use the tournament's final task to expose the imposter, to reveal the plot to Dumbledore. They need an exit strategy. They need a safeguard, a way to alert the true authorities. They need the truth, and they need to bring it back, no matter the cost. May 1995, the final task. The maze. The air is tense, charged with anticipation, a heavy silence punctuated by the distant roar of the crowd, a collective breath held. The scent of fresh-cut grass and powerful magic hangs in the cool night. The crowd roars, a wave of sound crashing against the castle walls. Harry enters the maze, his wand held high, the wood warm and reassuring in his hand. The hedges are tall, dark, rustling with unseen dangers, a labyrinth designed for confusion and terror, for a slow, agonizing challenge. He navigates the shifting paths, dodging various obstacles, blast-ended scroots, thick, disorienting mists, bewitched creatures. He uses his wits, his knowledge of charms, his ability to anticipate. He observes his surroundings with a hawk's vigilance. He listens to the sounds of the other champions. He keeps his senses alert. He trusts his training. He trusts his instincts. He will not be taken by surprise. He sees Krum, under the imperious curse, attacking Cedric. Harry intervenes quickly, precisely, casting a powerful stupefy at Krum, stunning him and freeing him from the curse. He explains the situation quickly to Cedric, his voice urgent, stripped of pretense. Moody is compromised. This is a trap. The cup is a portkey. We need to reach it, but be ready for anything. Trust no one but me. Cedric, though shaken, his face pale, nods, his eyes wide with a dawning horror and a flicker of trust. Understood. We stick together then. They navigate the remaining challenges, a team united by shared peril and growing suspicion, their wands working in concert. They find the Triwizard Cup. It glows with an ominous red light, not the golden shimmer of triumph, but a pulse of dark, malevolent magic, a beacon of doom. Harry feels the prickle of its insidious power, a chill that runs deeper than the night air. This is not just a cup. This is a portkey to death. Don't touch it, Cedric, Harry warns, his voice sharp with urgency, a desperate plea, but it's too late. Cedric, his hand already outstretched in the fading light, reaches for it, a triumphant grin beginning to form on his face, believing he has won. Harry grabs it too, a desperate, instinctual attempt to stop him, to save him, to mitigate the unknown danger. A nauseating jerk. The world spins, colors blurring into a smear of black and gray. The air tears around them, a sound like ripping fabric, a violent displacement. They land hard on cold, damp earth, the impact jarring Harry's bones, sucking the breath from his lungs. The scent of gravestones, stagnant water, and an unspeakable, cloying fear fills the air, thick and metallic, a stench of the grave. A graveyard, Little Hangleton. Harry scrambles up, wand ready, his heart hammering a frantic, desperate rhythm against his ribs. Cedric, disoriented, looks around, his eyes wide with confusion, with the dawning realization that something is terribly wrong. Where are we? What is this place? A figure emerges from the shadows, bathed in the sickly green glow of a coming dawn, a spectral figure. Peter Pettigrew, holding a bundle wrapped in dark, filthy rags. He is gaunt, twitching, his eyes filled with a desperate terror and a sickening, servile loyalty. He is a pathetic, sniveling shadow of a man, barely recognizable. Kill the spare, a cold, high voice hisses from the bundle, a sound that raises goosebumps on Harry's arms, a voice he recognizes from his dreams and nightmares. Pettigrew raises his wand, his hand trembling, his face contorted in a mask of fear and obedience. Avada Kedavra. A flash of searing green light, blinding and final. A sound like a muffled punch, a sickening thud. Cedric Diggory falls. His eyes are wide, unseeing, reflecting the cold, gray sky, a perfect blank. His body lies still, utterly, terribly still, a stark testament to the sudden, brutal reality. Harry feels a scream tearing through his throat, but no sound escapes, only a choked gasp, a primal ache. A cold, utter horror grips him, freezing his blood, paralyzing his limbs, locking him in place. Cedric is dead. Innocent. Murdered without a word, without a chance. This is the ruthlessness of the enemy. This is the true cost of war. Pettigrew ties Harry to a grotesque, crumbling gravestone, the rough stone biting into his skin, chafing raw. He carves a deep, painful wound into Harry's arm with a dark, ritualistic knife, the blood welling, warm and sticky. He places the bundle, the deformed infant-like thing, into a cauldron, a bubbling vessel of dark intent. The cold, high voice rises, chilling, triumphant, echoing off the ancient headstones, off the very air. Bone of the father, unwillingly given, renew your son. Flesh of the servant, willingly given, revive your master. Blood of the enemy, forcibly taken, resurrect your foe. Harry watches, paralyzed by horror and a cold, calculated terror. The pain in his arm is a distant hum against the stark, terrifying reality unfolding before him. He sees Voldemort's return. He sees the monstrous rebirth, the grotesque reformation of flesh and bone. He sees the slender, skeletal figure rise from the cauldron, impossibly tall, skeletal fingers reaching for a wand, for power, for vengeance. The air cracks with a dark magic that makes Harry's skin crawl, makes his blood run cold. Voldemort lives, again, and Cedric lies dead. Voldemort steps from the cauldron, his eyes red slits, his face a serpent's visage, utterly devoid of humanity. He summons his Death Eaters, and the graveyard fills with the terrible pop of apparition, with figures cloaked and masked, their loyalty chillingly absolute. Harry watches from his bind, unable to move, unable to scream, his mind racing, cataloging faces, calculating odds. He sees Malfoy, Lucius, standing beside his master, his silver mask gleaming. Harry feels a cold fury settle deep in his gut. This is the price. This is the enemy. Voldemort reveals the truth, his voice a sibilant whisper that carries across the tombstones, recounting his slow, agonizing return. He speaks of the prophecy of Harry. He mocks Harry's youth, his weakness. He demands a duel, a show of power. Harry is untied, forced to face the reborn Dark Lord. He stands before Voldemort, his wand trembling slightly, but his gaze firm, unwavering. He remembers Cedric. He remembers the cold dread. He will not yield. He will not break. The duel begins. Harry dodges curses, casts his own, instinctively using the lessons learned from Moody, the real Moody, the one he knows through textbooks and lore and the imposter's dark, practical applications. He is outmatched, but he fights with a desperate, cunning ferocity. He sees the green flash again, the killing curse hurtling towards him. He reacts instinctively, fiercely, unleashing a surge of raw magic, a shield that shatters on impact. The priori incantatum effect takes hold, and the specters of Voldemort's victims spill from his wand. His grandparents, Bertha Jorkins, Cedric. Cedric's ghostly form appears, transparent, shimmering, his eyes still holding that blank stare, but now with a faint, sorrowful glow. "Take my body back," Cedric's voice whispers, a breath of cold air against Harry's ear. "Don't let them touch it." Harry fights on, buying time. He knows this is his chance. He sees the faint outline of the portkey, the Triwizard Cup, lying discarded near Cedric's body. With a surge of desperate strength, he unleashes a powerful disarming charm, momentarily sending Voldemort's wand spinning. He sprints, grabbing Cedric's still form, grabbing the cup. The nauseating jerk. The tear of the air. He is back in the maze, the crowd roaring, the lights of the castle a blurry smear. He lands hard, clutching Cedric's body, the cup still in his hand. Dumbledore is there, his face etched with concern, his eyes piercing through the celebratory chaos. Harry sees the flicker of understanding in those ancient eyes, the dawning horror. He does not speak, he merely holds up Cedric's lifeless hand, points to the dark mark that burns on Pettigrew's forearm in his mind's eye, a silent testament to the nightmare he has just endured. He delivers the truth through the cold, dead eyes of his fellow champion. Dumbledore's face pales, the twinkle in his eyes extinguished by a profound, terrible grief. The truth is undeniable. The Ministry's denial is immediate, fierce, and absolute. Cornelius Fudge, red-faced and blustering, dismisses Harry's account as the ravings of a troubled boy, amplified by Dumbledore's senility. The Daily Prophet spews venom, branding Harry a liar, a glory-seeker, a disturbed individual. Harry, Blaise, and Draco watch the fabricated headlines, their faces grim, their resolve hardening. This is a battle of perception. This is a war for the truth. September 1995. Dolar's Umbridge arrives, her sickly sweet smile a harbinger of poison. She stifles dissent, weaponizes rules, and drains the joy from Hogwarts. Her decrees blanket the school, thick and suffocating like ash. Harry observes meticulously, charting her weaknesses, identifying her allies, mapping the shifting power dynamics within the faculty. He does not openly defy her, he calculates. He plans. He understands that a direct confrontation is futile, a waste of resources. Subtlety is his weapon. He gathers his lieutenants. Blaise, ever composed, ever discerning, becomes his chief strategist, dissecting ministry rhetoric, identifying vulnerable points in Umbridge's policies. Draco, his fear of his father's potential wrath now tempered by a cold, hard resentment against the Dark Lord who demands such loyalty, becomes his infiltrator, leveraging pureblood connections, subtly feeding information, sowing seeds of doubt among the more impressionable Slytherins. Hermione Granger, though not part of their immediate circle, is a resource Harry recognizes. Her intellect, her relentless research, her encyclopedic knowledge. He finds ways to feed her information, to subtly guide her towards conclusions that serve his purpose, observing her reactions, her developing resistance. He also approaches Neville Longbottom, not for his magical prowess, which remains largely untapped, but for his unwavering loyalty, his quiet courage, his deep connection to the older generation of resistance fighters, his grandmother. Harry establishes the Dumbledore's army, but it is not merely a defense club. It is an intelligence network, a training ground for operatives, a clandestine cell. He teaches them not only spells but observation, deception, infiltration, counterinterrogation techniques. He teaches them how to recognize a lie, how to spread a rumor, how to disappear in a crowd. He uses the lessons he learned in the maze, his encounters with the imposter Moody, his terrifying confrontation with Voldemort. He teaches them how to fight, truly fight, not for glory, but for survival, for victory. He insists on secrecy, on trust, on absolute discretion. He watches his recruits, their eyes wide with fear, then with determination, then with fierce resolve. He sees their potential. He sees their courage. He sees their future as soldiers in a war the Ministry refuses to acknowledge. He learns about the Room of Requirement from Dobby, not through accidental discovery, but through systematic inquiry, a deliberate search for hidden spaces within Hogwarts. The room becomes their sanctuary, their war room, their training ground. He pushes them hard, past their limits, honing their reflexes, sharpening their minds. He pushes Hermione to think beyond the rules, to improvise. He pushes Ron to refine his tactical thinking. He pushes Ginny to channel her raw power with precision. Umbridge's methods escalate. The Quill punishment marks him, but it only solidifies his resolve. He allows himself to be caught in minor infractions, distracting Umbridge, drawing her attention away from his larger schemes. He uses her own obsession with control against her, feeding her false leads, letting her chase shadows while his real work continues. The visions begin. The snake, the Department of Mysteries, Sirius in peril. Harry does not panic. He does not rush. He remembers his past mistakes, his impulsiveness in the graveyard. He analyzes the visions, cross-referencing them with snippets of overheard conversations, with information filtered through Draco and Blaise, with subtle clues from Dumbledore's cryptic warnings. He suspects a trap, a deliberate lure. He approaches Severus Snape, not with animosity, but with a cold calculation. Snape, a Gryffindor, still wears his bitterness like a shield, but his loyalty to Dumbledore is now less ambiguous, clearer. His animosity towards Harry has softened into a grudging, almost paternalistic watchfulness. He teaches Harry occlumency, not as a punishment, but as a critical skill. Harry applies himself with ruthless discipline, erecting mental walls, building fortresses of his own design. The Dark Lord thrives on emotion, Potter. Snape's voice is a low growl, but there is an edge of concern, almost a warning. He will exploit your every weakness, every memory. You must master control. You must master the art of concealment. Harry perfects the art. He erects powerful mental barriers, not just against Voldemort, but against Dumbledore, against everyone. He learns to project false thoughts, to bury his true intentions deep within his mind. He becomes a master of his own inner landscape. When the vision of Sirius under torture hits him, vivid and visceral, Harry does not immediately storm Dumbledore's office. He gathers Blaise and Draco. He shares the details, calmly, analytically. It's a lure. Voldemort wants me there. He knows I will come for Sirius. Blaise studies a map of London. The Department of Mysteries, heavily warded, too dangerous for a frontal assault. We need a diversion, we need an exit strategy. Draco's face is tight. My father mentioned the Prophecy Hall, a dangerous place, unstable magic. Harry formulates a plan. They will go. But they will not go alone, and they will not go unprepared. They will not be trapped. He mobilizes the DA, not to fight, but to create a diversion at Hogwarts, to alert the Order without revealing their true target. He sends encrypted messages, subtly alerting key members of the Order through channels he's established. He makes sure the Ministry is aware of asterisk something happening, just enough to cause confusion, to buy them precious moments. He ensures Snape knows asterisk something is amiss, just enough to prompt an investigation, without revealing his exact destination. They use the Strals, not impulsively, but with precision, flying through the night, a silent, deadly vanguard. He brings Neville, Luna, Ginny, Ron, and Hermione, his core unit for this operation. Each has a specific role, a specific task. They enter the Ministry, cloaked and concealed, moving like shadows. Harry navigates the labyrinthine corridors, his senses alive, every muscle coiled and ready. They find the Prophecy Hall. The spheres glow, ancient and fragile. The Death Eaters are already there. Lucius Malfoy, Bellatrix Lestrange, Augustus Rookwood. Sirius is not there. It was a lie. A bait. Harry feels a surge of cold, calculated fury. He will make them pay. He will not let this sacrifice be in vain. The battle erupts. Spells fly, light and shadow dance across the shelves. Harry, Blaise, and Draco move as a unit, their combined magic a formidable force. Harry doesn't seek a direct confrontation with Voldemort, who he senses nearby, but to secure the prophecy to protect his friends. He leads, not with reckless courage, but with tactical cunning, shielding the others, striking at weaknesses. He sees Bellatrix's madness, her delight in pain. He sees Lucius's cold precision. Sirius arrives with the Order, not as a savior, but as reinforcement, guided by Snape's cryptic warning to Dumbledore. The cavalry, precisely when they are needed most. The tide of the battle shifts. Harry, seeing Sirius's fierce grin, his recklessness, understands he must act to protect him. When Bellatrix fires the killing curse at Sirius, Harry reacts with a speed born of pure instinct and cold practice. He shoves Sirius aside, throwing up a powerful protego that shatters with the force of the curse, but deflects the green light into a nearby shelf of prophecies. The shelves collapse, a cascade of glass and dust, obscuring the view. Sirius is knocked unconscious but alive, protected by Harry's shield and quick thinking. He does not fall through the veil. He survives. Harry feels a surge of triumph, cold and brief. He has saved Sirius, but the battle rages. Voldemort himself appears, his presence a chilling shadow. Dumbledore arrives, a blaze of light and power, confronting the Dark Lord. Harry, no longer blinded by the direct threat to Sirius, focuses on the Death Eaters. He sees Rookwood targeting Hermione. He casts a powerful blasting curse, sending Rookwood careening into a wall. He sees Lucius Malfoy attempting to snatch the prophecy. Harry intercepts him, a furious, silent duel, matching cold cunning with cold cunning. Harry's grief for Cedric, his rage at Voldemort now manifest as an icy calm, a deadly precision in his movements. He does not scream or weep, he strikes. He parries. He protects. His wand moves with a dancer's grace, each spell a calculated blow, each shield a strategic defense. He casts a powerful confringo at a group of Death Eaters, forcing them to scatter. He uses a series of nonverbal charms, disarming, stunning, binding. He fights not with emotion, but with pure, distilled will. He does not want vengeance, he wants victory. He wants the end of this war. The Ministry Aurors arrive, guided by the chaos and the alarm charms Harry had subtly triggered, witnessing Voldemort's undeniable presence. The Death Eaters retreat, Voldemort vanishing with a terrible snarl, but not before Harry has secured the prophecy. He clutches the glass orb, its contents a mystery, its existence a testament to the night's brutality. He stands amidst the wreckage, his friends bruised but alive, Sirius stirring faintly. He sees the cost. He has paid it. He has survived. Year 6, Half-Blood Prince. The prophecy is retrieved, its revelation echoing through Dumbledore's office. Neither can live while the other survives. Harry understands the finality, the grim calculus. He feels no despair, only a sharpening of his resolve. He will ensure he is the one who survives. He will ensure Voldemort does not. Draco Malfoy's mission looms. Harry knows. He always knows. Lucius Malfoy, disgraced in Azkaban, has left Draco vulnerable, burdened by the Dark Lord's command to assassinate Dumbledore. Harry confronts Draco, not with accusations, but with a cold assessment of their shared predicament. "You're compromised, Draco," Harry states, his voice low, devoid of emotion. "Voldemort wants you to fail or to die trying. It's a test of loyalty through sacrifice. You are a pawn." Draco, pale and haunted, denies nothing. His eyes, usually filled with disdain, now hold a flicker of desperation, a deep-seated fear. "I have no choice, Harry. He will kill my mother. He will kill ****. Harry offers him a way out, a path of cunning and calculated deception. He sees Draco not as an enemy, but as a strategic asset, a necessary component of his larger plan. "You will play your part, Draco. You will work on the cabinet. You will pretend to succeed, but you will work for ****. They devise a complex scheme. Draco will repair the vanishing cabinet, creating a fragile, unstable link between Borgin and Berks and Hogwarts. He will inform Harry of every step, every demand from the Death Eaters. Harry uses his own intelligence network within the school to monitor Draco, to feed him false leads, to ensure his subterfuge is believable. Severus Snape, aware of Draco's mission, Dumbledore would have told him, now plays a more nuanced role. He shadows Draco, ostensibly to thwart him, but in reality to protect him, to guide him towards Harry's trap. Snape's Gryffindor heart, hidden beneath layers of resentment, still seeks to protect the innocent, even a Malfoy. Dumbledore's health declines. The Black Hand, shriveled and cursed, is a stark reminder of his pursuit of the Horcruxes. Harry, ever suspicious, observes Dumbledore closely, connects the dots. He realizes Dumbledore is not merely ill, but dying. He does not wait for Dumbledore to share the truth. He seeks it. Harry confronts Dumbledore, not with pleas, but with a demand for information, presenting his own deductions, his own theories. "You're dying," Harry states, his voice firm. "You know how to defeat him. You've hidden the answers. Tell me, Headmaster. Tell me about the Horcruxes." Dumbledore, seeing the cold fire in Harry's eyes, the unyielding will, understands that this Harry will not be spoon-fed information. He is a predator, not a protege. He begins the lessons, delving into Voldemort's past, the dark magic, the shattering of the soul. Harry absorbs it all, not with horror, but with a chilling fascination, a tactical appreciation for the enemy's methods. He understands that each Horcrux is a weakness, a fragment to be systematically hunted down and destroyed. He understands the profound evil, but also the profound vulnerability it creates. The Horcrux in the gaunt ring is retrieved. Harry examines it, the dark magic pulsating, before Dumbledore destroys it. The locket of Slytherin, hidden in the cave, is their next target. Harry insists on accompanying Dumbledore, not out of naive trust, but out of a need to control the mission, to ensure its success. He foresees the cost, the potion, the inferi. He prepares. He brings a store of restorative potions, strategically brewed by Blaise and Hermione, who, though not fully initiated, are trusted with specific tasks, given only enough information to complete their parts. In the cave, Harry watches Dumbledore drink the emerald potion, his body racked with agony. Harry uses the restorative potions, not just to alleviate the pain, but to keep Dumbledore lucid, to maintain his strategic mind. He battles the inferi with a controlled ferocity, using powerful fire spells, his wand a blazing torch in the darkness, protecting the weakened Dumbledore. They retrieve the locket, a hollow victory in the face of Dumbledore's failing strength. Back at Hogwarts, the trap is sprung. Draco's network of Death Eaters, called through the cabinet, are inside the castle. Harry is not surprised. He has prepared. He has positioned his own forces, elements of the DA within the castle, ready to contain the incursion. Snape, observing the unfolding chaos, moves to protect Dumbledore. Harry races to the astronomy tower, not to rescue Dumbledore, but to oversee the execution of the plan. He finds Dumbledore, weakened, disarmed, facing Draco. Snape stands nearby, wand poised, his face a mask of conflict. "Severus," Dumbledore whispers, his voice barely audible, his eyes pleading weary. "Please." Snape hesitates for only a fraction of a second, his Gryffindor loyalty warring with his spy's oath. He raises his wand. The killing curse, green and searing, erupts from his spell, striking Dumbledore in the chest. Dumbledore falls, his body arcing backwards, then plummeting from the tower, a final, silent descent into the darkness. Harry watches, his own face a mask of cold comprehension. He sees the tears in Snape's eyes, the flicker of anguish before the mask of hatred descends. He understands. This was not betrayal. This was the ultimate sacrifice, the final, terrible act of a spy protecting his mission, fulfilling a death wish. Snape, the Gryffindor, had proven his courage, his loyalty, in the most painful way imaginable. Harry does not intervene. He does not reveal himself. He lets Snape escape, knowing his true purpose. He allows the Death Eaters to believe their victory complete. He watches them flee, their triumph hollow, their power still vulnerable. Harry feels no grief, only a cold, hard resolve. Dumbledore's death is a necessary step. The war has escalated. Year 7, Deathly Hallows and Climax Payoff. The hunt for the Horcruxes begins in earnest. Harry does not embark on a blind quest. He has Dumbledore's memories, Snape's covert assistance, and his own highly developed intelligence network. His trio is an expanded circle of trusted agents: Blaise, precise and calculating; Draco, invaluable for his family connections and knowledge of dark artifacts; Hermione, whose intellect and research skills are unmatched; and a network of loyal, discreet contacts from the former DA. Ron is part of this larger network, his loyalty unwavering, his practical skills often proving useful. They do not camp in the wilderness. They move through safe houses, through hidden compartments in ancient pureblood estates, leveraging Draco's connections, using spells and charms to remain invisible to the Ministry. They infiltrate, they gather information, they strike with surgical precision. They are hunters, not wanderers. The locket, already in their possession, is a key. Harry, Blaise, and Hermione work together, each contributing their expertise. Hermione researches ancient rituals. Blaise meticulously analyzes the locket's enchantments. Harry experiments, pushing the boundaries of dark magic, not to wield it, but to understand and dismantle it. They discover the locket feeds on fear, on despair. Harry, hardened by years of cunning, of calculated risk, of enduring loss, uses his own mental fortitude, his own carefully constructed emotional barriers, to dominate the locket's insidious influence. He forces it open, forcing its internal magic to expose itself. He uses the Sword of Gryffindor, smuggled to him by a brave Gryffindor house elf arranged by Snape, to destroy it with a precise, cold strike, the scream of the locket a sound of pure agony. They track the cup of Hufflepuff to Gringotts. Harry understands the risks. He plans the infiltration with the meticulousness of a seasoned strategist. Hermione brews complex polyjuice potion. Blaise secures rare ingredients. Draco provides blueprints of the bank, details of its security. They breach the vaults, not by accident, but by design. Harry, disguised, navigates the traps, disarms the protections, and retrieves the cup with ruthless efficiency. The dragon escape is a calculated risk, a powerful diversion to cover their retreat. The diadem of Ravenclaw poses a different challenge. Harry knows its history, its creator, its likely hiding place within the Room of Requirement. He goes there, not alone, but with Blaise and Draco, setting traps, warding against detection. He finds the room choked with hidden objects, a testament to centuries of lost things. He senses the diadem's presence, its hunger for knowledge. When Crabbe's fiendfire rages, Harry does not merely escape. He harnesses the chaos. He uses the destructive fire as a weapon, channeling its raw power, directing it to consume the diadem, watching it burn into ash, ensuring its complete obliteration. He leaves no trace. Nagini, the final Horcrux. Harry knows Voldemort keeps her close, protected. He understands the prophecy, the final confrontation. He knows he must face Voldemort, but on his own terms. He understands Dumbledore's plan, that Voldemort must strike him down, and in doing so, destroy the fragment of soul within him. But Harry is Slytherin. He does not willingly walk to his death. He had planned for this, he had prepared for this, he had endured for this. He had learned about the Horcrux within him from Dumbledore, a cold, grim truth. He had also learned from Dumbledore's past experiments, and from ancient, obscure texts he had Hermione locate, about the possibility of separating such a fragment without total destruction of the vessel. He had spent months, in secret, with Snape and Hermione, working on a complex ritual, a dangerous, agonizing process to gently extract the piece of Voldemort's soul from his own. It was a dark, arcane art, bordering on the forbidden, but Harry understood. Survival was paramount. The ritual left him weakened, scarred, but whole. The fragment of soul, contained within a specially warded crystal, now sat safely in a hidden vault, inert, neutralized. Harry no longer carried Voldemort's anchor to life. He was free. The Battle of Hogwarts, May 1998, the castle trembles, the wards shriek. The corridor is green and silver and full of smoke. May 1998, deep under the dungeons. The ancient stone wall that once hid the chamber, now fortified, now their last line. Harry Potter stands there now in tattered Slytherin robes, back to the carved stone snake, wand raised toward the far end of the passage where the Death Eaters are coming. The smell hits first. Smoke, sharp and bitter from burning tapestries above. Damp stone, cool and heavy, seeping through the walls. A trace of cold lake water from the depths. It mixes into a scent that feels like the whole school burning and breathing at once. Behind him, through the arched doorway, come the muffled cries of younger students pressed into the common room, their voices blurred by wards and fear, and too many people in one underground space. The walls shake. A thunder of blows. Someone on the other side laughs, high and harsh. Green sparks shiver along the invisible line where the entrance wards meet the corridor. Each impact sends a dull ache through Harry's arm as his shield charm catches and bends. Silver light flaring, then thinning, then flaring again. He does not charge, no one here does. Survival, Blaise had once said, is not about noise. He fights with cold precision, leading his Slytherin contingent, bolstered by Ravenclaws who recognize the strategic advantage of their position, and a scattering of Hufflepuffs and Gryffindors who chose to fight alongside Harry's pragmatic command rather than Dumbledore's now absent ideals. They hold the line. Draco, pale but resolute, stands beside him, weaving intricate defensive charms. Blaise directs flanking maneuvers, his voice calm amidst the chaos. Hermione and Ron lead a counterattack above, driving Death Eaters away from critical points. Neville, now wielding the sword of Gryffindor, leads a charge of resilient Gryffindors elsewhere, a force of raw, unyielding courage. Voldemort appears, drawn by Harry's presence, by the disruption he causes. He stalks through the smoke, his red eyes blazing. "Harry Potter," his voice hisses, "an ancient evil. You have prolonged the inevitable." Harry meets him, not in the Great Hall, but in the depths of the dungeons, on ground he chose, on ground he controls. He is not alone. His allies are positioned, prepared. He has no Horcrux within him to be sacrificed. He understands the Elder Wand's loyalty, its true master. He is merely bait. He challenges Voldemort, not to a duel of spells, but of wills, of understanding. He reveals his knowledge of the Horcruxes, of the Elder Wand. He reveals that the piece of soul within him is gone, extracted, neutralized. Voldemort's face contorts in a snarl of pure disbelief, then savage rage. The final duel is not a battle of raw power, but of strategic cunning. Harry does not try to kill Voldemort with a direct curse. He uses the Elder Wand's reluctant loyalty to disarm him, repeatedly, systematically. He forces Voldemort to confront his own folly, his own weaknesses, his own fragmented soul. He exposes Voldemort to the collective force of the school's defenders, allowing the true magic of Hogwarts, of the alliances forged, of the unity achieved, to bear down on the Dark Lord. The walls tremble, the magic screams, the resistance holds. Voldemort, finally disarmed, his connection to life irrevocably severed by the destruction of his Horcruxes and the removal of the one within Harry, is exposed. His final scream is not of rage, but of utter, uncomprehending despair. He crumbles not into dust, but into the hollow echo of his own ambition, finally defeated, truly dead. The fighting dies down. The silence that follows is deafening, broken only by the distant sounds of collapsing stone, the cries of the wounded, the ragged breaths of the survivors. Harry stands, wand still raised, his robes tattered, covered in soot and grime, but whole. Around him, Blaise and Draco stand, exhausted but victorious. The world he has made is raw, wounded, but free. 1 week later, the Great Hall is slowly being repaired. The sun streams through the newly mended windows, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air. Harry sits at the high table, not Dumbledore's seat, but an ordinary one beside Blaise and Draco. He is in conversation with Kingsley Shacklebolt, the new interim minister, and Andromeda Tonks, a key figure in the Resistance. They are discussing the rebuilding of the ministry, the integration of all houses into the new government, the crucial next steps. Hermione, still poring over ancient texts, outlines new educational reforms, her ideas already taking shape. Ron, standing guard at the door, scans the room, ever watchful. The scent of fresh wood and plaster fills the air, mingling with a faint, lingering trace of ozone. Harry's expression is weary but alert, his eyes scanning, assessing, planning. The war is over, but the work has just begun. He has not sought glory, but he has earned leadership. He has not sought peace, but he has secured survival. He is the architect of a new order. So there it is. The story of a Harry Potter, shaped by ambition, forged by cunning, defined by the calculated loyalties of Slytherin. A Harry who learned not to trust blindly, but to assess, to adapt, to prevail. A Harry who, in a world where Snape was sorted into Gryffindor, found a different kind of mentor, a different path to victory. You've witnessed his journey, his choices, his ultimate survival. But what about you? What would your role have been in this alternate timeline? Imagine yourself at Hogwarts in the midst of the looming darkness, the ministry's denials, the whispers of war. Which house would you have been sorted into? Would you have joined Harry's clandestine network, risking everything for a calculated victory? Would you have held the line in the dungeons or sought another way to fight? We want to hear your story. Describe your alternate fate in the comments below using the tag Gryffindor Snape O**. Tell us how you would have contributed, what magical skills you would have brought to the fight, or what unexpected alliances you might have forged. And for all the artists out there, we're calling for fan art. Show us your interpretations of this Slytherin Harry, his allies, or the world he built. Share your creations on social media and tag us, or send them directly to the link in the description. Let your creativity flow. The Hogwarts crest in candlelight, the doors still open. Subscribe, leave your alternate fate in the comments, and keep the story going.